Okay, suddenly that's real quick after that we rest it. Decided, oh, I'm not reading. So, just because now it shows a little bit different. What's the difference there? Oh yeah. I guess they don't have a focus, but then what's the point of doing it? Well, I mean, to use it since thing storage, but I usually can focus as good as I need to. Nothing usually that I strongly focus that much on. There's not a lot to deal with, so. But yeah, okay, so she's gonna step the dog's laying nicely, but I'm gonna get breakfast started, and we'll go from there. But yeah, yeah, top and live have always been the options. Make sure you cough it up. Sorry, that's that sounded a little bit. It's just, let's just say it's under the weather a little bit, and I'm just reminding him the importance of coughing because it's better than what he does sometimes. And I guess I'd call that reason. Anyway, but yeah. Um, after that, not great intro. It's gonna get better. So, um, because can all make it. So, let's find out what that means. Yeah, I'm looking at these. Like I accidentally. Okay, I do see the option at the bottom too. I accidentally selected the option to bring it. Yes, as much as I kind of prefer just having them in the chat and just kind of doing it that way. Um, and how that paces, how the pacing of that. It could be cool to those that I'm kind of familiar with. It would feel like we're talking in a way that we haven't yet. Kind of side by side on the screen. And yes, it's just a cell phone, but most of the time it would be. Yeah, so it's small, which is smoking pocket, but that's a car term, is it not? Too. Um, so anyway, G's gonna play some piano. I'm gonna make my breakfast. It's gonna be quick and easy and healthy, and then I'll be on the screen to chat. But yeah, oh, there's always something there. So just a moment. We live in a simulation, and the Earth is a rectangle. Not even a hey, how are you? Anything like that. Um, we can do better, folks. The four of you here. Like I say, G's about to start playing piano, and then we'll do other things. And yeah, we're not going to talk about simulations. We're going to be real and humans with each other, and it's going to be good. And what was that Earth is the right thing? Does anybody else see that out of curiosity? No, there's six of you here. Cool. Okay, this is when I'm supposed to be getting my breakfast, but he can kind of hold things down a little bit. I'm not going to let him get into podcasting mode because he has to go to work. And I have this prop, like a finicky charger prop, just so. I have a story for Justin if he tunes in, kind of sort of. And yeah, I'm behind. So she saw that 9 hours ago. She's been back. Anyway, okay, so. Oh, I'm also going to make sure I open this on here because there might be comments that some people's comments for some reason that don't show otherwise. Yes, I don't want to be the silly kid. I need to connect it. I want to keep it plugged in. So, okay, I'll be back in just a moment. Enjoy the piano. Well, you're not going to be doing much there, but sounds like you've left the piano on. You know what? You're right. It's okay. Like I said, okay, now I just have to remember to that later. Yeah, that's perfect volume too. I thought you
No,
and I forgot to do something with the setup. Got 7 of you here. I appreciate it. I'm almost finished doing what I was doing in the kitchen. Now we got 9 of you here. So don't be shy to come in with uh, kindness. And I'm going to just post the title of the video here. Paste it for those that have come here by scrolling. Because I'm nice. There was, while I was just out in the kitchen, another part I was going to add to it, but I don't remember what it is. So there's that. 12. Well, in 8 minutes. That's pretty good. But you know what? To me, it's not even just about views. It's about the interactions. It's about the likes. It's about having a nice conversation with each other. So feel free to bring that as well. And I'll be right back again. So. peanut butter on cinnamon bread, which was otherwise kind of boring. Pretty Valerie, well, hello. Thanks for the 2 likes. I'm guessing they both came from the 6 of you, 2 of the 6 of you that were here. How about the rest of you? Um, so, Valerie, I'm curious how you came across the channel. If it's your first time, I certainly don't recognize the channel name, but maybe you've been watching before and not saying anything. But you don't seem shy this time, so maybe it is your first time. We've got now 2 out of the 6, probably the 2 that liked because they like it even when they don't see someone there. They're like, oh, this is lovely. I'm sure this is going to be great. Oh, there's something showing here that isn't showing there, and this is why I do this. Oh, actually, maybe they just came in. Hi, Gracie. How are you? So, same question to you and to the other 7. How did you come across this channel? Is it your first time here? And welcome. I can tell you a little bit about the channel, or we can just have a conversation. I hope you won't mind. I'm also going to have breakfast, and we can have a conversation, and you can get to know about it. This, yeah, I hope you're having an amazing day too. I mean, ours is only just starting. It's 8 o'clock, but thanks for the like. So, where's everybody watching from? The odds seem to be working. So, yeah, I think. Oh, there's a third like. I appreciate it. Although now there's 2 watchers, so one of them may have left. Okay, pretty Valerie, you've already said hi. I know that people can say this when it's something they like. Yeah, this is what it's all about. But but yeah. Let me just check something. I've met a couple of races in my life. It's actually semi-ironic, and I'm hoping. Okay, why won't it let me go to channel? Okay, so I just have to see someone out the door off to work, and then I will be back. So I appreciate your patience. I think it's because it's not. Yeah, it's not all the way scrolled up. That's why. Okay, boom. Um, Gracie, it looks like your picture's actually a guy. I'm not judging. I'm just curious who that is. And yeah, where you're watching from. I recently met a Grace. Then again, I guess it's true. You'd probably say you recognize me if it was you, especially since it was recent. Like I think I do, but I'm not sure. This lighting. Hey, you need to get over here, do the thing, and then we need to get moving. Listen, please. You know you want your hug, so come on. You know what? I think I can grab you. Should not. You should do it relatively because I know you love it. But anyway. No. Yeah, because because let's make sure that he doesn't get it. And because I know he's gonna be wonky. Good job. Here, toss it to you again in case you've forgotten it after your goofiness. Almost good catch. Okay. Now we can focus. I don't mind this one, even though it's a bit of a tricky light. It helps a bit. And also a light in this room, I think. And not in this one. I don't need to be on and not out there. Technically not in there either, but it comes into here. Okay, so who do we got? Well, I want to be open to it, but it is always a little bit awkward, I would say. Uh, you need to focus on your juice sticks on your kids, yeah. But first of all, it is a nice dog. I'm not doing that. Sorry, I gotta do. Is that you in the videos? Okay, that person looks a bit older. Valerie, can you say a little bit more based on what I'm saying? I'm not meaning to sound mean, but I don't. I want to make sure that you're not trolling. You know. Um. And Gracie, are you still here? I know I asked who that was in your photo because I mean, unless you're trans, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like a Gracie to me. I don't even know what the male equivalent of that name would be. But oh, I'm also going to pin the comment that I is practically the title of this video because when there's comments there, I want it to still show. You are still here. Okay. So yeah, where are you watching from? And you do look like you have both of you actually. And maybe I should recognize who that person is, by the way, especially with the tattoos. Um, but I guess not like if it's a hip hop rap or if it's a rapper. Not that I don't listen to some rap, but I'm not super likely to know who it is. Um, and but I actually have done a entertainment piece back in the day, and one of the characters' names was Gracie. Um, yeah, do you happen to be from Can? No, well, you should. If it's who I'm thinking of, you should be recognizing me now. It feels like, well, yeah, the light is a bit better. I adjusted it. Um, oh yeah, I'll wait till Justin tunes in to tell him that story. So, well, I must say, Valerie, it's a little bit awkward that I'm glad that you said that you're still here, but that you, whoops, that you aren't saying where you're watching from. I've asked a couple of times, um, and you know, I do my best to try and be a good influence, but I am also pretty free spirited, and there's a small part of me that if that's you in your, I guess, shorts or in the videos that it shows there at the top. We got 7 of you here now. Welcome, welcome. Um, I'm not too sure how old you are, and it happens sometimes, and sometimes I don't know it right away, and they can be actually really great conversationalists and very kind and all that stuff. And setting a good example for some people that are actually older than them in some cases. But I'm not super old. I'm not super young. But and the dog's like living good. In my day, back in my day, even as far back as the early 2000s, like you know, kids weren't using YouTube. Very few people were, and some people shouldn't be using it because they're just being stupid. Um, but yeah, uh, basically, yeah, they just weren't. I want to choose one. Bullying is not cool, even though it was one word, and it's weird because I was there the other day too. But anyway, um, yeah, I'd be venturing to even say that they barely use the internet. You know, um, but these days it's different. Yeah, no, I was asking Gracie actually, but thank you. Um, it's a neat dog. Looks like some sort of shepherd husky mix. See, the only thing is that I don't like how. Okay, I'm gonna adjust this and hopefully not wish I hadn't touched it. It's just I'm on a tilt. There we go, and it's still plugged in and everything's good. Feels kind of far away. Um, yeah, that's because I usually tilt it this way. That's why I thought I had it all this my thing I have it on. I had it all arranged before, and Well, I'd rather wait to tell Justin because I'll tell the rest of you too that are here at the time. But if Justin tunes in, then you know he's gonna want an update. So okay, now we can have that again or try to. So I'm not sure. Yeah, not sure. For instance, if the very top comment is showing to others or not. Well, I'm not. So I mean, never, never yet since the. I mean, I'd say it if I was, but I mean, how long have you been someone who doesn't, quite know how to enter a conversation? Um, Not to be like, because I'm not this way, not to be rude, even to someone talking like that. But how long have you been someone who doesn't really know how to join into a conversation in, how do I put it, a natural way? Um, I don't want to say the word. I don't know what word I want to say, but it was just kind of weird. You just jump in with that first. I mean, and assuming that I am for some reason, it's kind of odd. I mean, you're trying to be confusing, and it's not very welcome, I must say. Hello, Melafontaine. Hi, how are you? Um, I've actually dated a woman from South Africa, Benja. He was hoping I was. See, and this is the thing when we don't know people very well. Um, okay. Um, Let me just see for a moment here. So, first question is, how come you have no content yourself there, Benda Be, Benda Yahoo? No, I'm not trying to break anybody's heart. We can learn to all get along and accept each other as we are, and as we are, as we are in a chapstick. By the way, if you're curious, chapstick. If you're not, Valerie, I've always found that one to be a bit odd. But so um, so where are you from anyway? Is it Ben Deho? Deho? Is that the name? I have an appointment later. Um, I'm just gonna have to work on this. Possibly that's what I thought. Oh, but it's all good in the head. I have an appointment later, and then gonna pick up some food from somewhere. Isn't that the place that I've heard there's lots of crazy stuff going on lately? I mean, there's lots of places, but that one's been in the news lately, and it's been a little bit surprising, to be honest. I think so. Um, well, I'll just say this. Uh, Ben Ben Dehu. I'll just say this that if you are if you are um sorry, this video is keeping me a bit more active. Not that, not that things aren't sometimes active, but it's a lot more with some people that I'm usually familiar with. And some people, so sorry if I'm missing anything. I will get to your comments. But basically, what I was going to say, and not always people I'm familiar with, but um, yeah, I wasn't awake enough for this rapidness, but hey, I appreciate y'all. Um, I'm going to call you Ben. I think that's your first name. If it's not, correct me. Uh, as I spilled coffee on myself. At least it wasn't super hot. In fact, I'd like to heat it up, even though the dog's behaving. In the 16th. What does that mean? Anyway, Ben, are you still there? Ben Dehu? Which does not sound like certain something, so, you know, you could be being real with me. Well, I mean, okay, that's good. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know if that Ben individual is still here. Uh, we must ask for prayers for Leanne, please. I will say that. Um, and this is sometimes when I'd rather not know someone's age because, happy to have nice conversations and that. But I mean, the question is, why aren't you in school? um, but I mean, this is supposed to be also educational conversation as well. And I just heard something. Just a moment. He should be well on his way. Must have just been somebody going down the lane. But since I'm up, I'm gonna make we're going down the street. I'm gonna heat up my coffee a moment in here. And yeah, let's put it here. Wow. I don't want to get too behind either. So, um, but if he's gonna lay down and get comfy, I'd rather the dog. That is, I'd rather he do it one time there for a little while. Of course. Then it's a little warmer anyway. Okay, and we're back. Ugh. So, who out of the people that have been commenting do we still have here? I'm just out of curiosity. Uh, I must say, by the way, people don't ask that very often in person. In okay, I see. In person, in online. So I'm not sure, Ben Dehu, if you're still there. I'm not sure where that. You know, I I don't think that I necessarily seem the straightest or the most masculine, but I mean, a lot of people aren't entirely. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but anyway, I don't need to go on about that topic if he's not still even watching. Um, and I certainly, yeah, it's weird because I think that sometimes like I'm not scripted, but I think of um, I kind of sometimes have some ideas rolling through my head before I start. And that's right, I was eating breakfast, and it's time you should see it. I'm not going to show you because I've got this prop just so charging on a bit of a finicky cord. Actually, it's not. Um, but I'm going to hope that, well, it's fully charged, but sometimes it's not fast. I don't know what to do. I don't, we've got five of you here. Sometimes when I plug it in and come back, then I've just got the audio happening. And so we'll see. We'll see. This might be, plenty engaging and about an hour or whatever, and do well, do quite well, and I might say, okay, cool, I'm going to do other stuff, because I do have some other stuff to do a little later today, and some time in between might be all right. Um, but yeah, it was kind of, I placed it on a plant, and there's a piece of furniture here too, and it was starting to tip kind of almost in between the two, and yeah, but mm, yeah, I had said but under stuff too. So it says that there's one still here, but is that accurate? Because sometimes it isn't. Is it Valerie we still got here, or who is it? And where is here anyway? Here is here, I suppose. But yeah, I basically I had the thought. I don't even remember what came before it, but I had the thought that I'm not here to make anybody uncomfortable or anything like that. Um, it possibly could have been because of something somebody asked me the other day. I'm agnostic, Eduardo. Again, jumping in with a random question. No, hey, how are you today? Anything like that? Just, I mean, I don't see that often, but I mean, I've seen it 2 or 3 times in this. And, I don't mind somebody having a faith and, maybe using it in a little bit of what they say, but don't do too much of that because I won't be into it. Um, but I could tell you more about my beliefs if you like. Uh, you too, as in you're agnostic, or you wouldn't be into overly religious, or I mean, the two almost go together in a way. And some people might be sitting there thinking, but let me finish the other thing. Oh, right, because somebody had said a certain something. I just have to run to the kitchen very, very quickly. Sorry, I know I just sat down. You don't have to retract that just because I misunderstood it. I saw it. I read it. It's fine. I'm just asking for clarification. So I'm just asking for clarification, and I've got some information. It's still kind of boring bread, even with all this stuff on it. It's kind of weird, but anyway. Um, I don't know why you're saying 67 so many times, Valerie. I really do appreciate you being here. I hope you have a great day, and I wish you a great year and much success in life. But one of the details you shared with me earlier, and then if everybody says, well, you could say, yeah, he actually, you know, and there are every now and then occasional exceptions, but you know, I don't want anything to be kind of awkward, and I'm not really sure. I appreciate that you put a few more comments, and we're just repeating hi, but can you tell me what that 67 means, by the way? Eduardo, are you still there? Because I mean, somebody just coming in and not saying anything to the response that I gave, and just coming in with that. Hmm, we can have a conversation. You can see that the top of this says about, yeah, seeing the common grounds that we can have. So I guess people forgive me. I may have, well, that one person didn't have that content, which I always find a little bit awkward. But I mean, there's got to be people being the audience too. Memes. Oh, really? Well, that's really strange because my device shows memes. It shows whoever this is that put the. Actually, it looks like the. Okay, you did say that. Okay, it shows the American flag that you put. But for some reason, it's not showing those. It's showing them as numbers, and also that funny little symbol that I've sometimes seen in comments, but not just yours. So that's kind of odd. But I've got to apologize though for a moment here. I don't know if Eduardo and Ben may come back to this or are still here. Um, I guess maybe I didn't think too much into this particular one and my special, aren't we all? But and yes, we are. I won't even let you answer that because I already know the answer to that. But it's kind of with that one more your username. Anybody see that person out of curiosity? Anyway, what was the question again? Oh, um, yeah, Walter Piney, Pinay, not Pine. I wouldn't say. Oh, you're what? Have kids? I don't have any. Who knows if one day I will. I've got some health issues, and I am not super old, but I'm getting older, and so yeah. Anyway, um, now see that's an example. So like the title of this is about having common ground with people. No, it's not that I don't make a video title and then try to kind of stick to it or whatever. I'm also going to turn the radio on very slightly and almost toss around the breakfast again. Just for a bit of background noise. I don't need to be just here myself. Everybody dance now. Let's feel good. Let's make each other feel good. Let's have an enjoyable time, but not be weird, okay? um, but anyway, so yeah, I make a title sometimes and I try and stick with it, but both depending how much I put into a video and just in general, and I'm fine with everything being organic as is. Oh, I thank you, I appreciate it. Um, Out of curiosity, do you post as well? I'm asking, but I also was thinking I might go to your channel at the same time. But yeah, so I just want to finish what I'm saying because Eduardo, I think it was, and Ben are here. Thanks for the hearts. It was, I think, a smiley before that, but lots of love. Curious which one of the four of you it's coming from. I'm not even entirely sure right now if all four of you are in the comment section. um, but now there's two of you. So anyway, now I'm a little more sure. Yeah, so basically, I sometimes just have a general idea. Sometimes it's simply just chat and performing music, to be honest. And the chat can also be helping each other out through the things you might be going through in your life that might be causing you stress or whatever. And that you're trying to figure out in your life, and that kind of stuff. Um, and but thanks for the fourth like, by the way. But I did have a specific title in mind, and that could seriously have made some people say, "Okay, are you religious? I am. Are you gay? I am." It hadn't occurred to me how those questions might tie in with the title of this one. Um, and I don't know if that means I should change it at all. I think those are the 100% ones. We got all four of here. So Eduardo, and I am going to put that in the comments, and maybe I'll actually pin it because a lot of people get to these by scrolling. So um, if they scroll, uh, so Eduardo, I think was his name, and Ben Dehu. I didn't mean to be rude to you. Although I really think, okay, thanks for letting me know. I really think that with the guy that was asking about religion, I don't think I was rude to him. I don't feel like I was. To the other person, I maybe was because I thought that he was can you go to sleep? Shouldn't you be heading to your classes, college university? Unless you don't get up this early usually. Hmm. Oh my goodness, that was almost falling off the thing. Onto the dog, onto the floor. Kind of favorite cup. It says success is found in your daily routine. Rise and grind. Says some places in Canada where I am. But yeah, so and some people may think, wow, we're 43 minutes in already. I agree. I think that too. But hey, is what it is, right? It's all good in the head. But some people may think, oh, I took it as a judgment because I relate. Well, even if I didn't, coming out with that first thing, although, like I say, now I'm remembering what my title is, it and people are looking to relate to each other. You know, I mean, even if I didn't have that as the video title, a lot of people are going to say, you know, they might get a sense because they relate to it, or they're just looking to, yeah, connect and relate, like I say. And so it's entirely possible that, all those things considered, that he would have just jumped in with that. So, but, and even if, like I say, it wasn't the title, therefore, you know, in life we have to understand that that's how some people, whether they're on autism spectrum or whatever, may communicate. And so that being said, um, um, I think what I should have done when I look at it now is I should have said, "Why do you ask?" Although, if I look back for a moment here, but what wasn't cool, actually, that when I look back, it actually does kind of annoy me. Um, and with the other one, I really wasn't. So whether I put that one back or not, I don't know. How old do you think I am? How old? Yeah. How old do you think I am? Out of curiosity. Certainly not getting any younger. I'll tell you that much. But no, it was how he said, "How long have you been?" Not to tell the trolls how to tweak themselves or whatever. I don't know if he was one, but it was how he said, "How long have you been?" instead of "Are you?" Because that's what I thought. Maybe I. But then I would say don't send memes with your device. They're not coming through on mine like you think they are. Most of them are coming through Valerie as numbers, and I'm not sure why. Some of them might be, but oh, you're guessing my age. And are you seriously guessing that I'm 18? Are you serious? Because, oh my gosh, thank you. Your second guess is closer, but not quite. Which is really kind of odd when you think about it, because those ages are not super close to each other. Unless those are memes. But I was asking, Walter, Walter instead of Walter, to. Well, I guess I wasn't specifying either, was I? Anywho, yes, I'm in my 30s, early 30s. So, um, but anyway, basically, yeah, if he had said, "Am I?" or if he had said, well, his comments after that kind of sort of made it sound like it. But he could have said, "You okay with the gay community?" Maybe I don't want to say maybe because he's not that old. He or autism spectrum. Anyway, looking back at the first comment though, yeah, a little bit kind of odd. Does anybody see the very first comment out of curiosity? Just wondering. Uh, but I mean, I don't know. Should I be completely honest? I don't know. Should I? Speaking of autism spectrum, I'm spectrum with a lot of things in my life. A lot of ways that I am. You know, and that's pretty common, I think. So maybe we could say, "Are you on this spectrum? Are you on this spectrum?" I don't know, but I don't know. That I'm not sure if that's the way that I want to do things. I'm also not too sure if I'm that much hungrier to eat anything else. One, because I'm distracted. Two, because I haven't been awake super long. And three, I just don't know if I am. So I'll put it here, hope that the dog forgets that it's there, and we'll go from there. 79%. Okay. So I'm just going to follow things on here because then I don't have to sit forward so much, even though I've got lots of cushions behind myself. And I just put this on this morning, but I was a bit messy. um, so if everybody would like to say what kind of stuff you post on your YouTube as well, uh, that could be cool. I mean, I've opened a couple of your channels. Um, Sometimes it's like I'd rather not know because people can be so varied and diverse. But okay, I see that you've got some shorts with some stuffed animals, an ironic McDonald's thing, which reminds me of a film I'm going to be making soon, a bit more creatively than most of my streams. As far as like, maybe some visuals and effects. In the meantime, I'm fine that I don't have those on any of mine. My content's my content, and I am happy to inspire perhaps, but that looks like a Lego game. And Legos, man, back in the day, I tell you. And you're making some sort of cards there, too. And I think you know who I think the person who relates to that, although that could be more than one person, I suppose, Walter. Walter. Are you German or Dutch by any chance or something? Like that sounds like a version of the word Walter. Russian, maybe? Just wondering. What I am kind of happy to see, though, is that like sometimes I have people that comment that don't have content themselves. That they just like to chat with people, I guess. And it's a platform, right? And it's a good platform in a way because you can see people in their videos and get to know them. And it's a nice way to get to know them. You're from Sweden. That's sweet. You probably hear that often. Maybe you don't, but you just heard it now. I won't get into the topic of meatballs because there's not too much to say about it. But no, anyway. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Have you ever been to Canada? And there's a guy that I follow on here. He's a little hard to kind of reach sometimes, I guess would be the way. And actually, speaking of, I do have this set, although I don't know if I quite feel like I know any of y'all well enough yet. But I do have this set to actually allow for a guest to join me on camera because I thought that could be cool. With someone that been getting to know for a little while, that could be kind of fun. And there's a musician that I know, musician slash model, and I'm not sure exactly all, but from Sweden. That in fact, I was just looking at a message I sent him the other day that I we've talked about possibly having him on here, possibly to do his music, but I think he's kind of leaning more towards working on an album and or putting music on the back burner for a little bit. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. I'm also that's something on the screen. I'm like, what is that on the ceiling? Wasn't there before. I haven't been going and putting things on the ceiling. I did just touch the lens on the other side of this, I thought, though. And okay, you might lose me briefly, but I'm going to try and plug this in. Even though what I said earlier made a lot of sense about going until it runs out of juice and then doing other tasks. But I can pace myself with my thing later for the most part. The other person I'm with can't, but they can get ahead of me. Just give me the thing I need, the things I need, and for what I'm going to be doing, and that's fine. Um, I'm wondering how one decides whether they should join somebody's doctor's appointment or not. Like the adult that they live with. Um, I don't know if I need to. I don't know if it would be distracting or overwhelming, but there's a part of me that kind of wants to. So, have you ever been to Canada before? I think I recognize that other flag, and I'm not too sure why you're putting it. Huh, and that's weird, Valerie. If you're still there, you asked if you could go to sleep, and if you are tired, I mean, I'm not want to tell you not to. Plus, yeah, don't you have your university? Don't you have your classes? Um, but yeah, that 167 actually shows like in squares for some reason. Um, but yeah, that I'll have to decide, or maybe I'll say, do you think that would you like me to? Do you think that it could be beneficial for me to, even for some of it? The rooms are usually kind of small. You know, not that we take up a lot of room or anything like that, but we don't take up a lot of a small room. But anywho, so yeah, I was just gonna look and see that friend from Sweden. I don't know what part of Sweden he's in. That must have been a misclick. You've already said hi. Um, yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm wondering if I should send to him again. I think I did just the other day, didn't I? I think so. Oh, I thought that we got that message ages ago, but we're just getting it now. Just a moment. I'll be quick, I promise. Yeah, I did on the 5th. So hopefully he's doing all right. Uh, and hopefully y'all, not likely in this one, we haven't planned it ahead of time. And like I say, with people that I'm familiar with for a while, for a little while at least, more than just today, I might be all right with bringing them in, even though we haven't planned it ahead of time. If they are like, I mean, I've seen my friend Leanne in some of her uh, shorts and pants and dresses. No, and it's just a joke I make about shorts. Uh, since I can't seem to make shorts, because yeah, and that's fine with me. I don't need to be in them. I don't really think that they have. Some of them are all right. Most of them don't have enough content to be interesting. You know, but basically, I'm just looking to see because some people do pass away young. I just was wondering if he did. Is that him? September of I don't know. I'll have to look at that more later. Um, so we've got 5 of you here, 5 likes, but I think some of those were here before the other people tuned in, before some of you were. Obviously, is what I'm saying. I think, but I don't think that I'm saying it. I think that it's obvious that that's what I'm saying. But feel free to give this a like. Okay, now there's 2 of you here, so maybe it is. Now it might be 2 of you. One of you just took your like away. Why? Please just be honest with me. We can't please everyone. We can't say the right thing all the time. None of it. You gave it back. Maybe it was unintentional. So I appreciate that. Although I have noticed it in a couple of my other videos, and it didn't go back. But maybe they didn't know that it went anywhere either. So 6 of you now. I really appreciate that, all of you. Some of those again were people that were here a little earlier, I think, but I appreciate that. Let's make it lucky 7, eh? Now it says nobody watching, but I don't think that's accurate. And sometimes it isn't. But Not bad for an hour's work. Well, you know, I mean, I could get into that a little bit, but okay. And then it went. It says no watch, but that could be inaccurate sometimes. It went from five and now or six and now it's five likes. Again, just curious, And if you didn't realize or didn't mean to do it, please just put it back. And if you did, okay, thank you. Anywho, so yeah, what was I talking about prior to that? Right, my friend from Sweden. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that. I wish I could bring him. I noticed it disappeared. It went away again. I don't know if you're playing with my mind or just misclicking. I'm not. Tell me what's going through your head if it's not just a misclick. And if going through your head is I'm just playing head games with you, let me know that, and I'll let you know what I think of that. But I say in laughter. But yeah, um, but that guy from Sweden, he's really got me thinking about this guy that I know, and haven't seen in a little while. Thank you, thank you. And I'm gonna have to look at that a little bit closer later. Why would you say that? Something TZ2VW, whatever that means. Why would you? That's a big place. I've never been, but likely a beautiful place with lots of great people. Just like anywhere else. Also, some probably not great people, but and also that person's still in the chat, I believe. So, not really. Dunk the hunk. Spelled dunk wrong, but that's funny. No, not likely. Not likely. I've never been in the UK. And yeah. What was it that you saw? I mean, everybody has a twin, I guess. I do have a lot of people that look like me, not necessarily with the hat and the thing because of my anemia and I get cold arms and a neck, but I get warm easily, so I'd be taking my sweater on and off, and that would be distracting and annoying. Really? How long ago were you there? I guess some places are like that. That's true. How long ago were you there, and why do you think so? Let's let the Swede stand up for himself. What am I from? I think you mean where? Canada. Well, I appreciate that that doesn't sound racist towards Africans, you saying that. But what's interesting is that you say that Sweden is totally African now. First of all, nothing is totally anything, I would say, for the most part. And I'm sure that there are still some Swedish people in there. Um, Maybe it's quite culturally diverse, but no, not me. Not that I wouldn't do that, but I wouldn't put myself in a position to do it either. Uh, but saving children from shooting. I'm glad they were saved. You know, playing with words. What words am I playing with? I'm reading your comments and responding. My brother lived there for 9 years in Malmo, and I visited. Well, it is like I say, a big country. Some places might be nicer than other places. Um, why are you saying this about in Scotland? I'm a hero. You're cherry picking to words to downplay the. No, I'm not intentionally. No, no. I'm just trying to be positive and suggest that you have a wider perspective of things because it's kind of like you're just kind of being very much like this is what I know and this is the only way I'm going to see what I'm talking about based on what I know and not necessarily have any you know, yeah. You know what? You're saying really weird and random things. But this is, I mean, it almost sounds like you guys are almost talking about the same thing, which is really kind of odd because the only time I've ever been is to talk about ambulance fees, um, and how they're crazy when people sometimes have medical conditions, they're not asking to have. Um, um, and basically, and aren't necessarily rich. And, you know, I'm a positive person, but Sweden is beautiful. Okay. No, I'm just trying to give my best answer to that. Like, thanks for the Canadian flags, by the way, Walter. Uh, well, I mean, okay, and where did that six light go, by the way? Who was it from? Was it from something? And you're just trying to figure out, you know, yeah. I have no reason to lie to you, brother. No, I'm not saying, and I'll take that because they have definitely pretty strongly masculine side as well. I'm not saying that you're lying. And to be quite honest, I mean, this may sound a little funny after what I just said, but yeah, I've never been there. But I'm sure that there are lots of people that live there, lots of people that have been there. And you said they're all African, but not in a good way. What does that exactly mean? Thanks for the six like again. Or I don't know if there's six of you here now, but anyway. Um, and yeah, sorry, Walter, if this is making, things uncomfortable. Um, again, I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable being here. Um, but yeah, I think that's where we should leave that topic, is to just say you haven't. I don't know. It's an interesting topic, and it's a topic for learning and education, perhaps, I suppose. But you haven't been to all of it, and I just hope it's not a hate for Swedish people, because I'm sure they're pretty sweet. A lot of them, they're pretty sweet, actually. But yeah, thanks for the God bless me. Again, I'm agnostic, but so I don't not accept that statement. So thank you, and I could stand to have, I am blessed, but I could stand to have a few more blessings, and I'm not trying to be greedy or anything, such as doing some more collaborations. And if any of you are interested, we could also do that. I'm going to follow this because otherwise, I can read it, but it's a bit of a strain to look at it on this screen. So I'm just going to follow the comments on here. Exactly. The whole of the Western, now we're bringing all of Western Europe. Just kidding. Yeah, best not talk about geography and like things in the news about geography because I don't know enough about it. That's part of it. But again, nobody knows everything about most topics, but things that people are passionate about, they might know quite a bit. It's true. But I mean, like, I'm a musician. I don't know how to play every instrument. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know everything. I don't know every song. But if anybody has song requests, we've got 8 of you here. I would love if you made some. Also, if any of you haven't liked yet, please do. When you import infinity blocks, I don't know what that even means. I don't know what that phrase means. You can feel free to clarify. I'd be curious. Um, and yeah, other than that, song requests. I do apologize about the sizing, that it shows the black strips on both sides because it's a cell phone, but you know, I don't know what's going on with my laptop. It'll say that the web camera is on. Red camera's on. That's how people say it these days, and that's how usually I say it. It'll say that it can start a video, but then it's just audio, and I'm not really sure. It's weird. It's not super old device, but um, I feel like I may have missed some stuff, but I did my best to keep up on what was being said. This has definitely been a very random one. I'm glad to see you at least are questioning, and it's good to see how you're open to the reality on the ground. Yeah, I mean, I think that I'd say that's a compliment, so thank you for that. Uh, glad to see you at least. I'm I'm a curious fella, a curious type of person. Uh, I think that sometimes maybe we shouldn't be, but a lot of times we should, because I don't think any of us, not to tell people how to be, but I don't think any of us should just, you know, make presumptions and assumptions all the time and not ask for clarification, not uh, get to know a person or a place and circumstances a bit better first. Basically, so yeah, again, chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. But I have that line, so nobody has to wonder because that's what it is. Um, but anyway, it's good to see you're open to the reality on the ground. Well, I mean, I'm living in reality, so I mean, you gotta. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. I don't know exactly what to say to that, but basically, you're saying that you're glad that I'm open minded, and I'm glad I am too. Yeah, no, but I mean, within reason, of course. Um, However, I must say, for it's hurt, you come to Europe and see how bad things get when you worry about words. Well, you were the one that said something about cherry picking words. Um, so obviously, some of what I've said you haven't liked either. I mean, you can't please everybody with everything that you've said. And to be quite honest, I'm sorry, but I see your kindness and your niceness in some of what you've said, but I also, and I mean, I'm not used to like having to kind of confront certain comments like this, but you have put about 3 or 4 comments where you sound like you're racist to black people. But there have been a couple of them where I've been a little unsure if I was understanding you right. Now, lots of black people, especially younger ones, and lots of white people, they use that N word just as slang and they mean nothing by it, in that negative way. However, it's kind of like another word, that can be seen that way. It's kind of like if we look at what certain people of certain cultures have been through, it is very not pleasant. And not to say that using those words is joking, but it's kind of minimizing what's happened to certain people. Like I just Sweden is now an N-word country. Wake up! I'm sorry. We're not going to use the N-word. Um, you know, there may be a lot of black people there, uh, but who cares? You know what I mean? There's a lot of black people in a lot of places, and that's fine. Well, the odds are working today in interesting ways. Anyway, but hey, it's neat to have conversations with various people and the types of things that they say. I'll tell you that much. And I only can address them as best as I can. You know. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9:03, and it's been quite a morning. But mostly good. Um, who are the two now, three people that we got here? I mean, I'll keep rolling for now because I mean, it's and that person wasn't even I've taken them away. So Walter, if you're still here and you were feeling his hatred or mixed signal, or anybody else for that matter, don't worry. But as far as like, I don't even think that was trolling. I think it was just somebody who had certain opinions that were pretty strong, and they just weren't sitting well with me. You know, some of them, but yeah, not to the point of keeping them here in the chat. So um, I think I may have just said something a couple once or twice that showed that I agreed with him, and he got on a bit of a high horse because of it. It's kind of like he kind of like, well, I'm glad that you agree with me. It's kind of what he was saying with that one comment, but not really saying it that way. Yeah. Anyway, next. um, again, it very well could be that I don't know why it's showing that message that I think I put there as the pin. Is there some? Let me just look for a moment. Is there something that I'd rather put there that for the people that are scrolling, which is going to be a lot of them, like as far as like scrolling onto this, scrolling through live streams. Um, I hope that I don't think I did it. Maybe there's no option to pin it. I guess because I hit it. Oh no, I see it there. I've never done that before, but that's a positive thing to say when you come into somebody's live. So live and life, sometimes the same thing. So I think that's the one I'm going to highlight for now. Again, I don't do that very often, but I wanted to have something there. You love my lives. Well, thank you, Walter. Um, I'm under the impression that this is the first one of mine that you've seen, to be honest, because I've definitely never seen you commenting. And I guess just because it's your first time commenting does not mean, and you did it pretty quickly, does not mean that maybe you haven't been watching and looking and waiting to, deciding whether you wanted to chat. Right on and right on. But again, entering a conversation, saying those words, and honestly, the first is essentially the third, and the second is just spelled with two D's instead of, well, essentially two T's. Ricky, what's up, man? Are you drunk? you know, I mean, I'm an adult. I, you know, but not really what we're doing here. you know, um, and also 420 only has 1 0 in it. Amusing, I'll say that. But anyway, so I'm right that you're someone who has watched a few of them but not said anything, despite my laid back, easy to get along with ways and suggesting. Feel free to comment this and that. Maybe you've been one that's liked that I've not been able to, that I've not known who it was because it shows the number in the past. Is that what you're saying? And if so, well, I'll wait. Just to clarify that, Ricky, are you bisexual by any chance? The fact that you're mentioning two of those things, I'm just wondering. Okay, well then I must say it's very nice. What? How many have you seen? Curiosity, and why were you hesitant? Curiosity, but I'm really thankful to meet you here now on the on to for you to finally feel comfortable. Again, I don't know. Maybe you've only seen two, and maybe only a few minutes of each. I don't know, but it's nice to put a name to uh and I think yeah I clicked on it. Oh no, that's Valerie. It's nice to put a name you've seen too. So out of curiosity, what stands out to you? Sorry, I just like to ask curious questions and conversational questions. What stands out to you on the other one that you've seen? Because I know that's an idea that I had kind of coming into this year is to I meant to look back at some of mine, but I also have put it in a couple of them, but maybe at quieter spots or when it was people that were a bit shyer. And I said, what are titles or what stands out to you? And I haven't really heard much on that yet. Not that people haven't liked it, and if they were in the chat and chatting with me, they may have thought, well, because we were talking. But still, it would have been nice for them to have. So I'll give you a moment to do that. Let's have a bit of nostalgia. Yeah, I can go to probably about 10 or 11. I mean, I've got a lot more time than that, but we'll see. Is this charging at the moment? Yep. I do have to run upstairs in a moment. I'm like that you are funny and real. Okay, well, thanks. And yes, I am. I'm sure you're both of those as well. No, I mean, out of curiosity, what was I talking about in that one? And some of you are probably thinking, what are you talking about in this one? Whatever you'd like to talk about. Or I can do some music. Have you seen me doing music yet, out of curiosity? Yeah, and like I say, we got six of you here now. I think it's not went below two for a while. Um, but yeah, I'm just curious, what was I talking about in those? And yeah, it's very nice that you're in the chat. It really is. Others welcome too. But again, what I am going to do, because yeah, I feel a little bit odd about highlighting somebody else's comment, even if it was nice. So what I am going to do, can you answer that other question, that the way that I kind of elaborated it, or the way that I initially meant it, actually, before you head out? I would really appreciate it. I'd really love to hear. And then certainly, if you don't have any more time today, I appreciate you for being here as you've been able to. But yes, if you could answer that as far as what was I talking about in the other ones that you've seen. Maybe I'd like to say more about it in this one. And yeah, I'm curious. And in Sweden, I'm not exactly sure what time it is, but it's probably later in the day than it is here. So yeah, I'll let you do that and not have to also focus on what I'm saying. And I'll let the other two people possibly pop in. And what I would like to suggest also, Walter, is that from the hour 20 mark, let's say hour 25, if you do, and hopefully you do answer that elaborated question, I will answer you. So you can come back and see this then. And if for some reason you don't see it, I have to go now, as opposed to AJ have go now. Okay. All right. Well, maybe you could tell me next time then. All right. Have a great night. And then we've got, not counting him who is about to leave, I think we've got three others here. So, yeah. And we best not talk about that place anymore. Apparently, some people have some strong feelings about it. um, that I'm not aware of. There was those other two comments, and I'm almost wondering. Um, um, how do I want to word that? I don't know. I don't know. there was a couple people that said something, a couple things in the comment, and I want to, if they really did think what they said, and other people might as well who are a bit more up on current events, I want them to know what's accurate. Um, I don't know how to word it though. I'll be right back. Oh. That being said, if they were both talking about the same thing, I mean, that guy did a great thing. And that's, well, a great thing. I'm sure he wasn't the only person involved in saving them, I'll tell you that much. That doesn't sound like a one man, one person effort. Um, uh, I'm just, well, technically, they both were talking about, were they both talking about the UK? I know one specified Scotland specific, and I think the other one said the UK. So I think I'm just going to say that. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there. I mean, yeah, some people do travel around, and maybe I'm not originally. Maybe that person wasn't originally from the UK, but they were there. But also, I don't think I have an accent like that either, to be quite honest. But it'd be interesting if my friend Justin tunes in because he's from there, and he might say, and if he says the same thing, then I'll know that they weren't playing. I'll say that much. If he and I know what he goes by on here, and if he says that, then he wouldn't say that unless he really thought that. Um, but also, I'm pretty sure that he knows I'm in Canada, so so and I've got to assume that it might sound different from that individual. I mean, if it had been any other theme, I'd be very curious to look it up. In fact, I'm not going to look up a video of it. I'm just going to look up something here. I mean, I'm not finding anything about it. Not really. I'm not. And certainly nobody looks like me. I mean, I'm not 70 years old or whatever. So that's, I don't know. Anyway, I have to run upstairs for under 5 minutes, probably about two, maybe three. So I look forward to chatting when I get back. And yeah, all I'll say is that it has been pretty active in the chat. And the numbers at the top have been pretty active, and you can see that 6 people liked. At the moment, there's just you here, the one person. So no pressure or anything, but I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to get to know each other. And okay, it looks like you may have left. So, oh, but either came back or somebody else is here, and let's um, let's get to know each other and connect. Uh, I can also do music. I can also perform music if you'd like. But I do have to run upstairs for about 2 minutes, maybe. And I am going to put that in the comments also. Okay, and then I'll be back to chat and do music. It'll be great. Oh yes, and this is something else I wanted to kind of keep organizing on the couch. Lots we could talk about, definitely. If you don't got ideas, I might, but if you do, feel free to put them. I'm wondering where you put your. Oh, and the other thing I'm just going to add here I'm just going to because I'm thoughtful. That's really what it is. Uh, uh, I'm just going to, I guess I don't have to put it in the same comment. And I put that, not that the other thing isn't for the viewers, but I'm putting that because people that, like, when I've scrolled live streams sometimes, if I'm getting a pretty good vibe pretty quickly, sometimes I'll say something fairly quickly. But when we're not in somebody's actual environment, we don't know really what it is or what it usually is or anything like that. So it is entirely possible that I don't think I even said, well, and the duration might not show too. That's true. Because actually, I've wondered that recently. And then interestingly, I've seen a couple people ask on people's chats how long have they been rolling that video. So it doesn't show. It'd be nice if it did for when you have to put timestamps and I don't have a fill or something. But I'm not sure if that's something that Elizabeth might be able to help with as well. Yes, it wasn't the autistic too. It was. So, but like I know that sometimes when we're scrolling videos and we don't know somebody's environment, and we can think that there's one person there, suddenly there's somebody else on the screen as well, right? And unless I invite someone I'm familiar in to join me, that won't be the case. I'll never forget though, there was these 3 or 4 individuals, and they all had um, um, kind of interesting eye color, or I don't know, maybe just not an eye color I see very often, and they all have the same eye color, I think, or 1 or 2 of them may have had eye makeup on, and and they had interesting fashion sense. And I remember that it's like there was one, and then there was like 2 or 3 more, and they were talking about supernatural stuff, I think. But even though I sometimes talk about that kind of stuff, there is some people are into it in certain ways that I'm not. Let's just say that. But yeah, so basically, and the hairstyles were kind of interesting too. I remember that too. So yeah, basically just letting people know that nobody else is gonna join in, other than in chat, join in on the video here. Unless, like I say, oh, this is someone I'm quite familiar with. If they'd like to, sure, let's bring them on the screen for a moment. But that's the only, yeah. So, don't have to worry about having to engage with more than one person unless you choose to in the chat. But I will say that at the moment, it looks like there's only one person here. The others have been in here, and some of them have been a bit more chatty than others. But just at the moment, it's you. So, and I've noticed that more than once where I kind of say that, and some people, I guess, don't seem to like the pressure or whatever. I don't know. It's not meant to feel like pressure, but I mean, is it not obvious that I can also hold things down pretty good? As I can keep things, the momentum going as well, pretty good. But then, and this is, I'll take this opportunity to not brag or boast or whatever, but basically, there are many people I've met on here, and when they take the chance to get to know me, we actually quite enjoy chatting quite often. Also, there was somebody in this video who apparently has seen, I think he said 1, maybe 2 of my other videos, and was watching but not saying anything. Today, he decided to chat. Now, I don't see that very often. I don't know if it's just people don't notice my posts after that, or there's just a lot on YouTube, right? And if the algorithms aren't helping, but and people have a certain number of people that they already follow, but however it happened, maybe he subscribed. Some people forget to do that. Maybe they intend to, but they forget to. So don't forget if you like what I'm doing here, Uh, yeah. And anyway, so but he made his way back and introduced himself, and it was actually a few comments in when he said, "I've seen your lives. I like your lives." I'm like, well, listen, I could tell you're enjoying yourself now. This is the only one I'm aware of that you've seen. But then he elaborated a little bit. Not as much as I would have liked, but he did say that he enjoyed that I was funny and real, and yeah, that he just says that I'm a great YouTuber. So I really appreciate that compliment, and comment. So Maybe there's some others out of the four of you that have been to this channel before, and maybe today is the day where you might want to introduce yourself if you haven't yet. All four of you look like you left, but again, sometimes it can say there's nobody. Now it says there's two, but it could say that when somebody that like I'm familiar with is chatting, and I know that they likely haven't left abruptly unless the device has passed away, died, and then they put another comment when it still shows that there's nobody watching. So sometimes all that stuff isn't, other than the comments, are inaccurate. But there is two of you here now. Now it's saying there's none. I'm also going to go back to this screen, which is basically the video on the computer. And whichever of those channels that I open are meant to be, some of them I really had no interest to with kind of how some are being. But yeah, so whether you've been to the channel or not before, I welcome you. Um, and again, unless that's inaccurate, they're like, yeah, okay, but yeah. Okay, so I welcome you. It's about chatting, doing music, uplifting. I feel a little redundant because I've mentioned it a few times already this year and then some last year, but it's good for those that don't know. Chatting, music, being there for each other, talking about like the human experience, human behaviors, things that have been um, things that we're trying to work on in life, that we're trying to heal from, perhaps. It's like it's specific, but it's also somewhat random. Just not too random. Just not too random. I think we should stay away from geography and politics for sure. And a lot of like, it feels awkward to say this because it feels like I'm not like mainstream or whatever, like I'm not keeping up with the world, but current events. I mean, I don't have cable, I don't watch news. I am online quite a bit. I watch local news sometimes because I'm always curious. Am I going to see somebody that I know going through something, or is there an interesting story? Plus, for the weather sometimes, to know ahead of time. But yeah, I really don't watch that stuff. I'm okay talking about movies, but I have not been to a lot of us haven't with Netflix and that. I have not really watched many of them lately. TV shows, on the other hand, TV shows, maybe. Cartoons, again, I don't have cable. I haven't been a kid for a little while. Not that only kids can like cartoons, but yeah, I'm not really, not really super well versed. Classics from the 80s and 90s, maybe a little bit. Uh, but I would say, uh, well, not only, but and okay, it looks like there's nobody here at the moment. Is that right? I don't know. But I think the comment that I pinned there, Uh, no, but I want to keep that there. So I don't know if it'll update. It probably did. Well, I kind of addressed some of them in here. This would have been a really good time to go peek because it doesn't look like there's anybody here right now. And then there will be. But if it's somebody that I end up having a good chat with, then, or that's familiar with me, they'll be understanding. So, yeah, no, it is still showing that, interestingly. So yeah, I think I will put in that in the comment. All that being said, just so people just to do music, talk about light things, and help heal people. It's a rare video where I've kind of changed the yeah, for now until I need to, possibly on the computer view because that shows a bit more. I'm going to leave the one that's there as the highlighted comment. All the other ones are showing, so you can see that. But yeah, so what do we want to talk about? What do we want to find out? What do we want to see that we have in common with each other? Be you, be real, and feel free to tell us something about yourself. You know, what you feel comfortable telling. Like I say, just be yourself, be real, and sunlight. We've got sunlight outside and in more ways than one. I would like to ask first, why do you ask that? Why? What are your thoughts on that? Again, be you, be honest, be real. Okay with it? Say so. Not okay with it? Say so. But I'm curious why you ask. Because I stream every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, uh, for more than a year, and only in videos a day or two ago and today has there been about 3 different people that have asked that. And like I say, so that's a little bit, you know, but I would agree that I'm not the most masculine man, but I'm also not the most feminine. And also, there are lots of masculine gay men. I mean, from what I know, you know. So, so sunlight, if you're there, but the honest answer is no. Um, See, I don't know why someone's asking that. That's the thing. But it's certainly not something that I feel like we need to talk about often because it's, I don't know. Okay. Now you might just be talking about something going on there. Seems to be a bit of a theme. But basically see something on the channel that I don't like. Not a very sunny type of way to be. So, okay, I've been needing to very quickly, under 5 minutes probably, go upstairs for a moment, and I've been a bit distracted. So I think I am going to do that. I invite you to see some of the highlighted comment as well as some of the ones that I put just at the bottom, because they. Okay, all right, all right, okay, okay, all right, all right, okay. Just kidding, but you know, like I said, the Alex have really been working on this one, and I don't know, what else, but it's this has been, especially, I haven't been awake very long. This is, I think I am going to actually, 'cause I'm not going to bring this in there. I'm going to pull the cord. Just kidding. Sorry. Didn't mean to say that in a way that may have triggered anybody, but if it did, we can talk about it, because I realize that some of us have had to do that for our loved ones, and it's not easy. Whether they could have lived longer but chose that they didn't want to or whatever, I understand that. And it kind of makes me think about the latter part of my video the other day. But no, I'm just going to keep rolling until I need to plug my device back in. And it's fully charged at the moment, but it doesn't keep its charge super duper long. But I would say that we've probably got a good 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Uh, and that'll be plenty. Sometimes I have the time and the energy to, but I do have some other plans later today, so I do want that in between time, I think. So, but yeah, you're welcome to see the Uh, I put in the comments near the bottom some of the topics that I'd rather stay away from. Really, just, we could talk about music, and I can maybe even perform some music. We can talk about, I'm here to. Hi, Sheila. How are you? Okay, well, we got someone here I'm familiar with, so everybody behave. Just kidding. Or Sheila. I mean, you haven't you've been. Thanks for the seventh like. Yeah, seventh like. But we are almost 2 hours in. But still, sometimes it really it varies. But you know, um, you know, I would like to think that when you're sick, you'd be watching live streams more. But I know you've been away because you've been unwell. Oh, floored by the Lord. Hello. Okay, two. Okay, and oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful people. Beautiful to have you here. Yeah, and I think it's just you two here now. And I feel like I haven't seen one of you in a little while, except for with you know who's videos. But I feel like I want to make one of you a mod because let me just tell you, I think it's just you two here, but there are many times when, even though I'm posting great stuff, not to toot my own bugle, things are a bit quiet. There are times when I have a few regulars here and occasionally a newbie, but I tell you, today the chat has been very active and I've done my best to keep up, and it's been very random as well. I don't know if I would say it was trolls necessarily, as well as much as it's just people being people and the variety that comes with that sometimes. People making presumptions, people, yeah. Um, but yeah, that the way I have that works with the chord. But so I feel like even though I managed, because I wasn't playing music, although I'd offered a couple times where I wanted to focus a bit stronger, and then it would have been handy to have somebody here to put somebody on timeouts until I could see them. Um, So which one of you or both of you would like to be a mod? I mean, I don't want to scare people away because they say, okay, there's the channel, the content create, the host, which when I put the invite in thing, it said those are responsible for blah blah blah, and two mods. Um, but I sort of yeah. So sometimes it's just I feel like I'm just talking to myself on the screen, and I feel really unheard. It's really nice to have you both here. Are you both here still, or is it just Sheila? Because it says one, but it probably means two because it does that. Anyway, and if I had to guess which one of you is still here, though, just because your comment came, okay, you are both still here. I look around a lot. Well, at least you're not sketchy about it. Anyway, so I and put me in as a mod will help you. I mod. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, because truth of the matter is that I'm knowing you a bit longer. I mean, you don't have to always know somebody long to, you just have to take the time to get to know them, put in the effort, be good at relating to people and stuff, and it's good. Uh, I think that worked. Let me just check again. Yeah. Although, let me just. Sorry. Standard, I think, is good. Let me. Okay, sorry. I'm just quickly doing something here. I have been one in a few people's chats too, and I mean, there were options that I didn't think were available to me as one, like going to somebody's channel, like or like finding somebody, even though that doesn't always seem to work. But and it's kind of like, um, but then sometimes it does seem to, so it's weird. Um, has capabilities of standard moderators. I'm just trying to figure out the difference between a managing mod and a standard one. I usually make people a standard, but I don't have a lot of words listed in the blocked words section, and I think they'd be pretty obviously, you know, calling for needed action if you saw them. So that's the only difference I'm really seeing. Change chat modes. I'm not really sure what that means. I still don't understand what super chat means, other than that I mean, it can be a super chat when it's not super chat. Apparently, there might be money involved. I'm not too sure. But I don't know. By the way, do any of you know what the best um, platform for accepting donations from for on here is. Um, I'm just going to make it standard because I think that's good enough. Just ask that you tell me what you want me to do. Some people want the trolls blocked immediately. And so, yes. If you don't mind, I really have to run upstairs and pee for a moment, to be blunt and honest. But in this, I'm gonna ask a curious question for you while I'm away. Even though you might be multitasking or whatever, I don't want to get you to get too distracted and wander away from me or anything, kind of thing. But I'm gonna ask you a curious question. I appreciate you asking, by the way. Um, but what and yes, I've had. I don't usually have a full cup. One because it's too sweet at the bottom, even though I do like it sweet, and then also because although Sheila, I'm gonna say I slightly disagree with that because in some cases I think so. In some cases, you need to ask them a question or two and see how they respond to it. But I'm curious what you think I would look for in that. Um, like I say, I will say though that it's mostly when I'm playing music, or if you're here and I'm like help, like it's, but mostly otherwise I can, and to the third person that's here, we'll get into another topic. We don't need to go on about this too much, but then I can decide after. However, if it's very, very obvious, and you think, oh, he's not going to want to see that, that's going to just bother him so much, you know, right, right, exactly, exactly, yeah. That's really what it is. This is supposed to be a safe space and accepting space for everybody. Like Sedona says as well, and but people that are rude, people that are just trying to stir the pot, people that are being a little too political, perhaps aggressively religious, um, 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 yeah, or rude to each other. The obvious things, right? Um, I've had it happen a couple of times recently, but other than that, all the videos I've posted, very rarely, where I've been asked, "Am I gay?" I don't know what to tell you about how to handle that situation or that kind of comment or question because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. As far as it's really how they do it, but it's like I don't know. Like and you can watch back at the beginning of this video later because fairly early on somebody asked that. It's kind of when I had the video, not specifically that, but it's kind of the title of the video that may have prompted that question. Not that it has anything to do with that community, and it's not that I don't either, as well. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. We also have to understand too that some people's social skills aren't great, whether they're a little bit younger and not as well versed, or they're on the autism spectrum, maybe. But yeah, yeah. So anyway, I am gonna run upstairs very quickly, do the thing, come back downstairs. Feel free to, comment on any of that. I guess my other curious question, if I did ask it, I kind of gave you the answer anyway. Uh, but because you were asking too. But other than that, if you have a song you'd like to hear me do, if there's a topic you'd like to talk about, if there's something that you're struggling with in your life, if there is uh, something you'd like to talk about your day or your plans for your day, I'm here to chat. Um, Other than that, it's looking again like I need to spend more time organizing clutter on the couch. Got a real variety on there right now, maybe even this table. And And yeah, um, I'll multitask, and it'll be lots of fun. The wording, but I know what you mean. I'm sorry, but yeah, it'll be lots of fun. So I'll leave you with those ideas floating in your head. You can bring any of those into the comments, and yeah, I mean, I can tell you something that I know from knowing one of you a little longer and one of you in a few chats is that the both of you are kind, open-minded people, and we have that in common. So that's uh that's the people I'm happy to have around on my videos. I think you both liked. It's also and pretty quickly you did, and I appreciate that. I mean, you've seen me before too, so it's like, oh yeah, I like him. Oh yeah, and of course, why not, right? I'd like it too if I could. No, just kidding. I do. Uh, that reminds me. I would like to check out. No, you don't. I think I've clicked to it. Neither of you post very much, eh? Um, that's very interesting, actually. Something on this screen makes me want to share something with you. Well, yeah, like I say, I wouldn't have kept her around this long if she wasn't. I wouldn't have made her a mod if she wasn't. And to the third person, why are you being so shy? I'll say this that there was somebody who has seen one or two of my videos and didn't say anything, and today finally introduced themselves. You know, you let yourselves come into the. Okay, now there's only one here, and I think one of the two of you, if not both of you, are still here. Yeah, you're here. Let yourself come into the conversation with me. You'll enjoy it, I promise. I'm here every week, folks. Try the buffet. Here every day, try the buffet. I think that's fun. Oh, yeah, I'll be under 5 minutes, maybe even above it. Beautiful day out there. I'm looking forward to bringing up a little bit. Beautiful. When I say to the screen as I come down, yeah, I don't know if you handled that so well. And I did so well with the way it started as early as it did in the morning, and I did not need to bring it downstairs. And that cup, oh, this cup, oh, this cup, and that cup, and every other cup. Here we go, by me. I feel like what we wanna. I feel like I need more coffee. I'm congested. But he's been around for a few days. And I don't know whether I should have it. Oh, the sugar. I'll just have cold water. We'll see how that does. How many have we got here? We've got three, and I think I know. What have I missed? What are you guys talking about here? Talking about me? So it seems like it. He gave me all the. Not all of it. Don't misuse it. Don't be a bad boss. And as far as I'm not binary, but like I'm very much in my masculine as well. But and don't normally I'm not one for the they or whatever. But when I saw that comment, he gave me all the power. The kind of they gave me, or rather C, the big C gave me all the big P. No, I'm sorry. Sorry, sometimes my jokes don't land. You're like, I think it landed perfectly. I'd like to fly the plane again. No, anyway, I'm sure he will fix you up as soon as he gets back. That's not what I'm trying to do, by the way. I don't even entirely know what. Okay, I gotta say, who's saying who? Oh, I only made him mod. Seriously? Well, I know I undid it. Oh shit! I almost accidentally put you in a timeout. Know that if I accidentally do something, I'm obviously not intending to do it. Yeah, true enough. Whoops. I undid it because there's the two types, as I think you realized while I was doing it, and then I accidentally didn't do it right. So I want to say to the five people here, only two of which I uh, I know who they are. I want the other people who may be sitting here thinking, okay, I'm looking at one of the mods names, and it's mentions the Lord, and they might be thinking, is this going to be a religiously fueled live streamer who just is just going to be like unaccepting and this and that. First of all, not all religious people are like that. Second of all, no. That's the short answer. Um, but I accept people's faith, and I'm agnostic, I would say myself. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't want things to get overly as well, or too much in the. Now, it went from 7 to 8 likes. I hope I didn't offend. I'm trying to remember if I know your first name. FTL. FTL. Is what I'll say. I'm trying to remember if I remember your first name. I believe he's from Germany. We got four of you here now. Yeah, I hope I didn't just offend you. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to make everybody comfortable. Yeah, I guess you have, eh, Sheila? Sheila? Jameson. Right, 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 right. But I have a feeling you don't. Did you? Does it say that that you currently have a like there, or did you accidentally unclick it, or somebody else did? But I don't. Yeah, there was a few people here. That's something I've been noticing a bit lately, but I don't know if it's intentional or not. Yeah, I have a feeling you maybe don't like that name because I know of your past issues with alcohol, and it is a brand name. But that's right. How could I forget the Irish in you? The Irish in you. Now, I don't want to sound like the UK because a couple people today said that I remind them of somebody from the UK who's done something quite significant. Although I can't find anything about it online yet. But anyway, and I'm not from the UK, and I've never been, so not me. You're from Kentucky, right, Sheila? Yeah, or in Kentucky at least. But yes, Florida, if it does not show that you liked, hopefully you will like again. I'm only going to say that one thing that I said once, and hopefully people will realize it. And they can also hopefully take the time to look at what you're saying and realize that you're good in the hood. You're cool. So I think I've caught up with everything that you put there. If I've been gone longer, I can only imagine. Like the people that keep it rolling while they're sleeping, are they not curious what's being said, even if it's good stuff? Are they not worried about catching up with it later? Like, I mean, you know, and surely some people are going to be like disturbing, you know, and uh, and you're not going to know that necessarily until you see at least their first comment if it's that way. So, yeah, because I've seen people do it. So yeah, you prefer to be called JT, is that correct? I mean, Jameson is quite a neat name. It's a neat version of the name James, but JT is fine too. When somebody I've been following for a while asked my name, or somehow it came up. No, somebody thought that I was somebody else. One of her chatters. I believe it's just the two of you here now. So between you and me, please don't use it. You can just call me C, or just jump right into the conversation. But Colton. We're 2 hours in. I think there's only two of you here. And if one of you accidentally unliked, I hope you put it back. Oh, sometimes it's not. Well, that's weird, eh? Okay, it did show up again though, and there's only two of you here, so sometimes you misclick it, right? Or you unclick it unintentionally. But I'm really happy to say that it's got hi Wendy Melvins. How are you? Well, I processed that quick. I was expecting it to say Sheila or JT, but because it has been. So where are you watching from in the world, Wendy? I'm here in Canada. Glad to have you here. Now it says there's one, but that is inaccurate because I'm sure the other two haven't left. But you know what? What is? You know what? What is? Valencia, Spain. Okay, so you're not the one I know locally then, which whose name I don't know. Do you post content as well, by the way? Sorry if you have dogs, and mine might be getting. You already said hello. Oh, okay. Sorry, you're saying hello to the other person. Woo! Just keep me on my toes. But hey, if it's all in good in goodness, I'm happy to try. Sorry if you have a dog and mine might be getting yours a little worked up, and you're like, oh, do I need to turn the volume down? Because now I'm not going to hear all the great things he's going to say. Because I've felt that a bit lately. And in one actually instance, it's been a little bit mixed feelings or awkward. But anyway, yeah. So she said, I think that's what you said. So I'm going to call you that unless you tell me that it's not your name. But hopefully she just keeps calling me C. And then there's somebody that calls me the ocean. None of you waved by, so I don't think it's saying that you're not here, but it kind of is indicating that at the top. Or did you never land? Sorry, just kidding. Bad joke. Uh, the bad jokes peter out eventually. Okay, now it says seven again. What's going on there? Seriously, I think a couple of you are clumsily clicking uh, and unclicking. um, and I'm not sure if JT, you're a drinker at all as far as alcohol, but if not, I blame Sheila. Because the eight were already there. You're back. I didn't know you left. Now it shows six. What is going on? Why is that happening? And it's funny that you say you're back, Wendy, when I didn't even know that you had left, unless you were someone who was here watching for a little bit. But yes, the dog will hopefully hush up shortly. Oh, okay. Okay. So do you post content as well? And don't forget to like. Hopefully at the after this is all wrapped up, it'll be accurate and it should say so far 9, I think. I'm not just saying because I think it should. It that feels accurate. I don't know what's going on, but if somebody else is using some sort of technical powers that they have because they're tech savvy and they're saying I can do it, so I will. I mean, I know that three of you, two, and I would say Wendy, you're already seeming pretty cool and not, yeah, you're seeming pretty cool. So if it's the other person, maybe you should. Well, I mean, whether there's money in it or not, even when you're monetized, it really varies. It really varies. But don't a lot of us, right? Um, are you are you unemployed or do you have a job that I might find interesting? You're like, I have a job, but you probably won't find it interesting. Now it says three. I've never seen it drop, and yeah, maybe this is just the first time that I'm noticing it being inaccurate, and I'm wondering. But I mean, still, I will finish what I was going to say. Like, if anybody is or thinks about doing that, or has found themselves this far in and thinks about doing that, like we're in a new year here, and even not considering that, like do better, like be better, don't mess around with people, do your own thing, appreciate what other people are putting out and putting into their content. So I'm just trying to turn off a light here, and there it's a bit finicky. And yeah, but it sounds like that might not be. Well, I don't know. It says there's four people here right now. I can account for three of you, and I know it wasn't you. And they went down quite a big number, and I think that the count was smaller before then. But anyway, yeah, no, and I think the best way to put it, in case that fourth person is the one that, I'm not trying to blame you or anything, but I think the best way to just put it, and we're 2 hours in, so if it wasn't you, the likelihood, but you never know. Some people may watch a little bit, skip ahead once it's posted, watch a little bit, skip ahead, out of curiosity, but like not necessarily relating to what's currently happening. Whereas You can only watch it unfold while you're watching it live. Aren't you lucky? Anyway, but basically, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, wouldn't want it done to you, don't do it to someone else. Anyway, so an English teacher, I saw you said that. So that's cool. And did you say whereabouts in the world you're watching from? So are you homesick today? Because otherwise, I would think you'd be teaching English in the school. Yeah, I guess there are rooms, eh? What's the other channel you mod out of curiosity, Sheila? So yeah, all I ask, Wendy, is that and I don't think with current commenters, but with any of them, that you try not to get on people's grammar too much, okay? I appreciate it. This is YouTube. People don't have to be perfect. They should just be kind, kind and intriguing, maybe, like me. I quit drinking about 4 years ago. It wasn't a time. Just I'm holding the phone with one hand, not my usual hand either. I don't know why. I'm right-handed usually. I guess I'm proving my ambidextrous is what I'm trying to say. But I thought there was another format of that fancy word. This is where we need to ask the English teacher. And also, if any of you have any song requests, and I'm also going to try and follow it on the computer too. I mean, all the comments seem to be showing up here, and it's trying to catch up with itself now, as I'm doing. Did drink a daily and it was holding me back, but it led me to finding Jesus and he changed my life. Yeah, that's what I remember you sharing before. Now you're telling it to the people that didn't already know that. Well, congratulations on your sobriety, by the way. Yeah, yeah, we'll go with that. Somebody else was, it's funny, I was just watching a video the other day and somebody was looking for a word and I suggested sequence, but I suggested it right as the other person said okay, well, being non-binary, I mean, let me go put on my outfit and I'll join you later. Just kidding. Well, kind of. Um, Sheila, and I kind of do remember you're religious. I mean, I don't want to get hugely deep into religious topics, but if everybody here is comfortable with it, I'm not opposed to it either. And I'm not a doctor. I'm going to a doctor's office later, but I'm not a doctor. Nobody here said they were. So I'm not sure if I follow the joke, but thanks for trying. Oh, right, Spain, Spain. So you must teach Spanish too, then. Hola. Anyway, sorry, I'm following the comments on two different devices. I'm trying to decide which one. It's not that much bigger there. I'm trying to decide, and yeah, basically. But yeah, what I was gonna say, Sheila, is I think sometimes he does. I have proof. Sometimes he does. You may be like, I have proof that he doesn't. But seriously, has everything worked out in your life? But then again, I can understand how some people would say, well, no, but it wasn't meant to. Certain things weren't meant to. And I get that. I get that. But truly, getting a little personal here for a moment, and things are, I think, improving a little bit, but very slowly. And I've not been in the worst of circumstances. This is true. I have blessings. But why have I not been able to feel like I've been a purpose and feel as fulfilled as as I need to be, and doing more for more people as I would like to be in most of my 30s, if that's the case? It's not that I haven't believed in him, because I have at time. I have tried to and tried to be consistent with it, but yeah, it's you know, again, this is where I go into the agnostic for just a moment. It's like I believe that there is a God. I have a unique reason for believing it and just some general reasons. But I don't believe he's almighty. I don't believe that he can hear thousands and millions of people praying at once and that he can work miracles in everybody's life, all the time. That doesn't feel realistic to me. No offense to anybody. But sorry, I got passionate there, but I was using my ambidexterity. You're like, well, if you're going to use that word, use it right. I'm an English teacher. Sorry, just kidding. And sometimes that's my sense of humor. I'll kind of say, you're probably saying this, even if you may or may not. I mean, I have a pretty good concept as to, common ways that people may react to things. And I don't know. I'm not meaning to put words in your mouth. Have I really not missed much? You're going to have to have. Oh, I get it now. I didn't see that comment completely accurate. To the six people, three people now, and I think I know who, was working this morning. Yeah, because you'd be in a different time zone this morning and this afternoon, probably. Sorry, our dog wants to go out. I'll show you him quickly. Honey, I'm coming. I'm getting old. I've had a busy stream. I'm tired. Let me move slowly. Do you read much or do you like audiobooks? Sorry. Oh, just the thought of reading, other than comments and engaging interaction, makes me tired. I mean, kind of though. I mean, and that wasn't the English teacher that asked that. Well, thank you. Hello, KPCM from Ireland. Irish in the house. Represent. Bring us luck for 2026. That does make me think of a song. Maybe I should cover it, an Elvis song. But I don't know entirely what to think of the words. And I'd like to feel a song for the most part if I'm going to sing it. But we're at 71%. KPCM, first time to the channel? How'd you come across it? Glad to have you here. What do those letters stand for, if you don't mind saying? Because, and you don't post any content. What's up with that? It's 2026. Get busy. Just kidding. But it's good to have people as an audience too, right? Don't forget to like. We should be at about 9 or 10 by now. Legit. It was showing 8 at one point. Right now it's showing 3 to me. And I'm not sure why that feature is being wonky. It's not like it's a difficult one, for to even with it being such a big platform, I don't see what and it's amazing that any of it works really sometimes, but I don't know why that's being wonky. Sorry, I'm feeling like I'm a bit behind, but maybe I'm not that much. So, is there anything any of you would particularly like to know about me that you may not already know, or something you're like, I remember you once said this, and I've always wondered, can you clarify? I never thought to ask, but since you're asking me, kind of thing, just a thought, just a question that came to my mind. So yeah, no, I like because there's lots of good audiobooks that are biblical. No, just kidding. No, you're not one that kind of shoves it in people's face. I don't think. I mean, obviously, it meant something to you in your life. It's helped you out, and I would not say that about mine too. To be quite honest, you might be a bit stronger in your faith, but no, I used to basically is the answer. Sorry to the English teacher, but it's my ADHD, it's my tactile Asperger's, and the feel of paper just dry. My hands are already deal with dryness. I use lotion often, so I mean you'd be getting pages greasy. I just I'm more. I've hopped on the digital platform, and what I prefer to do is read conversations and comments on this platform or the other one I use, and but not a lot. I don't use it a lot, but and have conversation. But if I was to, I would do audiobooks, and in fact, I'd like to also do like voice work. Not that I'm necessarily any good at it necessarily, but I'd like to do voice work. KPCM, are you still there? I asked a couple of questions. I don't like when the dog's out there barking at people. Our yard, you can it's kind of a busy area ish. That's a lot of places in the world, so I'm not necessarily letting out anything. And it's kind of an open concept yard, but closed enough to have a dog in it. And yeah, sometimes I think it's just saying hi, hey, hey, come say hi, hey, hey, come say hi, hey, kind of thing. But to anybody else, it just sounds like an annoying dog barking at them. And he's not always annoying. So I don't want. But hey, hey, at least they might say, okay, well, he's obviously very protective of his home. All I have to do is walk past and look at him the wrong way. No, just kidding. Um, Oh, that's a beautiful. I don't know why I was going to call it that. That's a lovely question, random. Rendy. I don't know why. I guess because it's a random question. Um, and I would like to answer it. Hi, Brock. I hope you stick around a little bit longer than you have the past couple, but I'm always glad to have you here. Sorry, I've got lots to catch up with here, and I'm doing my best. And To the mods, Brock is cool. Wendy seems cool. KPCM seems cool. I'm a little bit more familiar with Brock. But What do I do on an average day? You're looking at it. No, just kidding. Well, kind of. Kind of, though. And yes, what was the song? Oh, I'll just sing a little bit of it. I don't want a four-leaf clover, a rabbit's foot on a string. I want the love that I'm dreaming of. The good luck charm. Anyway, I don't remember all the lyrics, and it might be a bit awkward. Hey, you need to come in, noisy thing. Sorry, I don't mean to call him thing. I never do that actually, but he was being a noisy thing. You heard him. Anyway, so what do I do on normally on an average day? By the way, just before I forget to say it, I'm surprised I haven't yet, but I've just been trying to keep up. I've learned some Spanish dancing in my time. It's been a while, but I have learned it. Not enough to really show it. One thing I'd like to talk about, I'd like to ask everybody to take a moment, whether you do this in a religious prayer manner or just healing and good thoughts, to think of my young friend Leanne, who actually, I don't think she's ever been in any of the videos that even a couple of the regulars have been in yet, but she has been in many. And she really sounded like she was going through something scary medically the other day. Also, I'd like to talk about, yeah, managing certain triggers and that. But what do I do in an average day? Live stream, cook, uh, watch videos, be on Facebook, um, try and manage my health. Oops, sorry. Toss a chew stick at the dog, you know. Um, I've been in a bit of a stuck rut, but I'm hoping that this year, in fact, I did a video that the other day that I decided not to post publicly for now because I want to work on it a little bit. And when I privatize a video, it hides even to me unless I look in my browse list. It's weird. So I'm hoping to connect with a filmmaker. I plan to text her later today, actually. She has a day job and she's kind of new at it, but I'm hoping she knows some people and I'm hoping we might be able to make some good progress as well. And it's going to be about, not that most of you watching need to hear this because it says five, four, it did say five. So at least three of you, and I don't know about the other person. Don't forget to like if you haven't, subscribe, hit the notification bell. There's one of you that may not have done that yet. But basically, I had a very powerful experience the other day, and it was a real reminder of going out and finding purpose and making a difference. I do my best, but sometimes that's easier said than done. Um, but I do feel like I did it the other day. So I'd like to, and I don't know how else to describe it in this moment, but I'd like to kind of make that a more, not flashy, but and normally I'm fine with my videos just being basic, me just sitting here chatting. But I'd like to do a little bit more with that. Since I have this contact who wants to collab, I always open to collabing. I don't find the opportunities very often. Some people don't like to collab too. That's the other thing. So, but it was at a networking event, and yeah. So basically, I'm going to do that. But the truth be told, is I have been in a bit of a rut. So I am slightly self-employed, but things have been a bit slow. And so we're a one-income household, but because we have at least that, and the other person understands that I'm doing my best, and that I have some challenges, kind of just like, yeah, I use this platform to try and bring some of those things to the people, the music, the healing, the perspectives, that kind of thing. Um, Other than that, nothing really that exciting. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people say work or school. I'm not neither of those. I'm not neither. I would say neither. Sometimes even English that's not said super well, and I know that there's a band called Band English, but I don't know if I know really any of their songs. Um, sounds kind of neat, personally. I think you are bro. You are still here. Is that what you're saying? I'm seeing since that's this video. Brock, I hope you're still there. That's this video. It varies. I have been getting to know some great people on here, and every now and then, some of them more than others, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if it's not you, just kidding. But life happens. But I have been getting to know some really great people, but there are times when I feel very lonely on here. And that's sometimes why I'm rolling because I'm feeling lonely. It's not the only reason. And there are some times where I'm, trying to put greatness out there and trying to, you know, and it's just not reaching. People will flash out the top very briefly and with the attention span of an ant and disappear, or they don't forget to like if you haven't, by the way, hit the notification bell. If you don't know how to do that, I can tell you as far as the latter one, because some may not. I'm not trying to say that you're stupid or anything, but some may not, and I'm not saying that you're stupid, any of you. But anyway, basically, like for instance, just yesterday, I did one of my longest streams ever for this year, and I've only done about two or three that long. And I watched back a little bit of it last night. G was doing something else, and I watched about 50 minutes of it. And I've got to admit, it had a bit of a slow start. And there was a point in the almost 6 hours, where I took a bit of a break and I was watching somebody else's live stream for a bit, and that was fun and amusing. But near the end of it, woo! Did it ever get deep? Woo! I recommend it. Maybe have some tissues with you. If possibly watch it by yourself. I don't know, but no, not tip my own bugle. I'd be curious what you think. I just rambled a lot with very little pausing, but thank you all for listening. Been super busy these days. Don't have time. Yeah, that's why I asked, because sometimes I concentrate better with books. Other times, yeah, that's why. And it also, I think it sounds neater. Like when I was growing up and I was young, and I used to go to the library more. Uh, you know, I don't know if I'm showing a few gray hairs there now. I guess I am, but I need to take some water. I need to remember to drink water sometimes. I do drink a lot of water, but sometimes I get so in the moment that I forget. I'm very tempted to try plugging this in. I hope that you guys don't lose me when I do. If I do, because I'm not doing anything for a few hours and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning here ish, I would probably start rolling again and continue the conversation. It's just that, um, it's just that, although it's at 59, this device is old. It doesn't keep its charge very well, and I've seen it die at around that charge before. And yeah, I mean, I could possibly still bring it back if that's the case. And I do like being able to have it hold it a little bit closer to me. And I have so many damn cords over here. I can't find the charger anyway. I know it's here. I know it's here. There it is. But yeah, I don't know. I guess if it dies, what I might just do is and it keeps it. It almost always keeps it. And then when I come back, it says, "Would you like to resume it?" No, I don't have anything. I was just looking for the cords. Um, I'll plug it in for a bit and come back in half an hour if that when that happens. But let's just play it by ear. Yeah. Anyway, so I used to get audiobooks then too, and you get sound effects and sometimes a nice voice reading it to you. And when I was younger, I was more used to story time. Chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. I'm still holding the phone with the hand I don't usually. For some reason, I'm just feeling like leaning on this side. Now, I do kind of want to talk about that cup. You want to talk about a cup? How amusing can that be? You're about to find out. But let me make sure I'm catching up here. When I'm working, I focus best on my work when I can. Oh, see, I yes, it's a bit easier to multitask, but I probably I don't know. I'd feel like I was missing, even though I have ADHD. I'd feel like I was missing something from in the audiobook experience if I wasn't fully focused. But I mean, if people, I'm not saying people can't multitask and come in and comment every now and then while they're listening. Like, I understand if you have other things to do, do them. But at the same time, if you can still stay and pop in every now and then with some thoughts, happy for that too. Uh, if I remember correctly, you have Indian background, but you're living in the States, aren't you not? In California, Brock, or something like that? Brock is, I have a couple other, one or two other people. They don't really have Indian sounding names, but, okay, KPCM, if you're still here, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just making my way through the comments and sometimes having a lot more to say about them than I even realize. So I appreciate the subscription. But anyway, yeah, Brock is not exactly a name I would guess in India. Andy, are you here? Came to check if I was still streaming, still live and alive. Somehow, yes and yes. No, I mean, especially like alive part, like with my health and my even mental health. Sometimes I'm a bit surprised that I still am, but yeah. So again, just a reminder: if this wraps up, it wasn't intentional. I think I'm just going to keep holding my phone, even though my tactile Asperger's would may also be a bit more of the neuropathy sensations. Are not super keen to hold the phone, but I'm having a good time. I did kind of get that fixed, but it's too far away, and that's not that much closer. And I guess if you guys don't mind, I could put this over there. But then if I'd be then tempted to plug it in and it might drop. But like I say, come back. But if you guys don't mind, I could just read the comments on the laptop, which I can put right here, put the phone over there, and I just wouldn't be looking at this screen. But no, I mean, life's been a struggle. I think it's starting to improve, but I don't know. Don't know how I ended up here. Really? 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 I'll say it a couple more times just for effect. Just kidding. Um, well, were you just scrolling lives, or I mean, you clicked in. That's how you got here. Thanks for the info. Film sounds interesting. Yeah. Sorry to hear you've been in a rut. Yeah. Um, Wendy, just making sure. Are you still here? Because I'm answering your questions. I want to plug in. I want to try it, and hopefully it would be good. Okay. Pretty much anything but metal, and I don't have to get into why with that. Uh, so anything except for is what I meant. Uh, not a lot of jazz and blues, but fusion. Not a lot of hip hop, but a little bit. And when I say hip hop, I mean rap as well. Some people may get all worked up and say no, they're not. In fact, I think I recently what's the difference. I can't remember the answer, but um, and I don't really want to talk too much about rap either. I mean, reggae a little. I have a preset for reggae in my keyboard. If we're going to talk about oh right. So it's a bit of a you may have been wondering, and I really want to plug this in, but I don't. I'm comfy. And yeah, other people might tune in. And if I'm not looking at the screen that I'm recording, it might look funny. I did that once or twice, and I haven't watched it back or watched it back enough to know what it looked like. Well, you did hear me sing a little bit of Elvis. Like, no, I didn't. I was upstairs. I have Vladimir speaking to me again, just so you know. And it has a name. Just kidding. Okay, that was weird. So when okay, um, I mean, obviously you're an adult if you're a teacher, but and I don't know. You don't have to tell me, but I do kind of think it's a bit of an old school belief. I haven't heard people say it often these days, but then again, I haven't really asked all that much. But would you mind sharing how old you are? I'm just wondering. I mean, everybody's an individual, regardless of age. It's true. Uh, but yeah. So basically, well, I've known a Wendy who I could talk a little bit about. It's funny because I also think of two theater experiences because yes, oh, very close to my age. Yes, I have seen Peter Pan, and I've also uh so I told you that I took Spanish dancing, right? Just a short class, and a while back, and there was a guy that I took it with, who became a character server at a dinner theater that is no more. Which I mean, you got if I know who's watching, I know where you're all watching from, and we're 2.5 hours in, so I'm going to be this specific because that may or may not be unique. It's now a different one. It's still too far to work at. It's still too far to really go, and probably too expensive. But I love the concept. I wouldn't mind starting one if I had the means, just like the drop-in center. But which AI has never let me forget. But um, so he was a character server. He wasn't in the actual show, which was a night at the museum, and it was just featuring different musical artists that it was like a music museum, I guess, and they come to life, I guess, at night or whatever, like the movie, right? Anyway, but he was a character server, so he wasn't in it, and I think I knew already that he worked there before. And but he did put on a bit of a costume, and what he put on was devil ears, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I have many great memories there. It's unfortunate, and I'm glad that it is still a dinner theater. I don't know why it ever closed. I know that there had been speculation of employees using drugs or the things about the boss, from what I recall. But um, it seems like a great place, and a character server would allow you to, you know, be a little bit um, theatrical, but not have to remember a bunch of lines, right? Uh, so I don't know. Basically, the I just hope that you're open minded and diverse. You seem like you are, because I knew a Wendy who in 2025 did not realize that there are different orientations and types of people, or at least she didn't seem to. Maybe it was her face trying to tell her there wasn't, but let's talk about reality, right? But anyway, now when you mentioned reggae, we have a theater festival here, and I've been volunteering at it for years, and I would have loved to have been in it. My health lately, and the fact that the fact that so again, if this dies, I'll start back in like half an hour. Maybe I'll give myself a small break, let it charge for a bit, but hopefully we'll still good. I do feel like I have to run upstairs, and I'm very tempted to plug in the thing. Anyway, uh, and I've been involved in this theater festival for like 15 years, I think, mostly as a volunteer and audience person. I'm still hoping I might find out about somebody's show to be in, but like I had to go out and be like 3 times in the past hour. you know, it's unfortunate. I almost wonder how able I am to even be an audience person still, because unless it's a kids venue, you're not allowed to come in and go out and come back in. You know, although some venues are set up quite well for it. And I'm trying to think if the kids' venues are really only at that one location. I know that sometimes they're not kids shows in that one, but that's just kind of for that time of year. And yeah, I almost got an opportunity to be a stagehand there, and they didn't feel they needed one, and it's like I need an opportunity though. I really strongly need opportunities. I hate it when they leave, when they don't let you leave. Oh, right, right. Um, I understand the disruption thing, but I mean, I don't like. It's not like I'm going to come in and try and be part of the show, or would I? Like I'm going to come in quietly and sit down. Like, I'd rather do that than have my body distracting me with a need that would be easy to remedy. You know what I mean? Um, but and just because someone's a kid and it's a bit more allowed, then really, regardless of what venue you're in, because there's many different venues in this festival. I mean, and some of them, even if they're not kids shows, their parents might take them to it. If it could be like all ages or whatever. I mean, kid shows could be anyway, but yeah, it's like, well, kid or not, like when you get older, you start to have health problems, even when you're not that old, like you're in your 30s, right? Or you're not even health problems, but like, like I don't know how much specific I want to be, and some of these might be changing as I start to take vitamins, but it's like, you know, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so but anyway, there was a guy that did reggae. I really want to plug in. I'm worried this thing's going to drop in the middle of it, but like I said, hopefully you guys will be able to come back if it does. Anyway, there was this solo artist. Like this is the kind of show I'd do, whether it was tributing a friend or not. I didn't go to it because there was just so many things to do, and I had shifts as well. And that time of year, I pretty much dedicate. Well, like I said, I'm not the busiest person, but I'm not. But that time of year, I pretty much dedicate it to the festival. And so, yeah, I hope that if this drops, you can come back in about 30 minutes when it does. Well, I don't know when it will, but we're at 47, and sometimes that's when it drops. You know. Anyway, um, yeah, I don't need to say too much more on that one thing because it sounds like we're on the same page. And Sheila, KCBM, Brock, any of y'all still here? Because it says there's three of you here. I think Floor did say he had to leave, but he'll be back. Whether I will be or not, I don't know. I don't got all day today, but I got a good portion still. Anyway, so like I say, if this wraps up before I meant to, it's just my device. But then I might need to plug it in. Anyway, I've already said that. But yeah, so that you say tell me about it about the audience thing. But also maybe tell you about the other thing. I will anyway. So whether you want me to or not. No, just kidding. But I'm very curious. What do you mean you be diverse, Wendy? Then you weren't diverse, Wendy, before I suggested it. Awesome. Right. uh, in fact, I'm dying now. Just kidding. I know, bad joke, right? um, I'm just gonna open this in another tab and see what it's telling me about the likes, because that's annoying me that it's not. I was and always will be the diverse Wendy. And then there's Wendy Williams. Apparently, she's been going through stuff talking about diverse Wendy's. Can I make you a mod? Would you mind? It's mostly just to put people in timeout when you think that it's needed while I'm playing music or if I'm seeming really overwhelmed. Um, I'd like to know who the second person is here before I say that. Okay, now it looks like it's just you because I don't think you went anywhere unless your phone died. I would appreciate if you just use my first initial or just hop into the conversation. But I understand why you're asking, and we're becoming familiar with each other, and I know yours, uh, Colton. But you don't have to say it in the comments because then somebody will. Yeah, this is YouTube, remember? But and you've got your name like right out front and center. That's not something I would necessarily recommend, but it is what it is, right? Oh, speaking of, I've got to look at that. That's not what I initially was going to do. Sorry, just a group that I'm in. Yeah, mostly when I'm playing music, like I say, and trying to focus. Mr. C. So that sounds like Mr. T or Mr. E. But I know, right? And there's a story behind it. Like any good thing, there's always a story. Chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not, is how it begins. And one fine day, a little boy was born. No, but and I say this is YouTube, but it's also, you know, I've been at it for a while. You're like, oh, I didn't know it was YouTube either, though. To be honest, I need to turn. I did a couple days ago. Anyway, what am I looking for? I don't know. Oh, right. Da, 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 da. Okay, sounds like a plan. Just standard. Make sure I hit the right thing this time because we seem to have similar values, and so that and some of them aren't around. Some are, some aren't. It varies really. So yeah, you do what you can. I appreciate it. And I guess this is the first time to the channel, or have you been watching for a little while and finally decided, yeah, yeah, I'm comfortable, like the other guy? It happens, folks. They do that sometimes. um, but out of curiosity, how many likes are you seeing on your end? Because I feel like it's actually like 9 or 10 right now, and I haven't seen that in a while. It's a different experience when you catch me live, other than seeing a great big long video that and I'm seeing three. And like I say, I at one point saw 8 or 9. So apparently YouTube's been being wonky like that. And even on the laptop, it's saying that. Um, anyway, so this guy, he pretty much just did reggae music. So it wasn't like, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have liked it or that it wouldn't have been a good story. I'm sure he did some storytelling too, but we just didn't make it to his show. And sometimes, every now and then, some that have been in that festival, even if they're not local, will come back with their show during another time of the year. And so he did that, and I actually got a message saying that he was back with his show. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I mean, it's cool, but I get perks as a volunteer at the festival. So it's not really something I can otherwise really afford to do that much. I also don't drive, so depending where it is and if I could get there. But then not only that, I mean, I don't hate reggae music, but do I like it that much? And I couldn't but think, because I'm human, uh, I couldn't but think that that he got the opportunity to be in the festival, which I think most people should get the opportunity to do once, most, but not all. And, you know, he probably plays out lots and this and that. And now he's got his show again. And, it's mixed feelings if that's not obvious. It's like, I'm happy for the guy or anybody else who is similar in that, to that kind of experience. But if you're not gathering yet, and I do and don't feel bad to say it because I'm human, I'm a bit jealous. Like, it's not that I want to be in the spotlight all the time or have a huge amount of fans cheering really loudly, but I do have a story, true story, a life story, and important things to say. And I do have music in me to put out there. So this is why I'm thankful, especially when it's noticed and people give me a bit of, give me their focus and attention. I'm thankful for the YouTube platform. Like I say, I don't drive. I'm not really big about bars. I do patio performances, but most of them, I've been thinking about this a couple times lately. First of all, only in the summer, especially where we live. Second of all, often near busy roads. And I don't know if I really want to hear traffic in the background while I'm performing. And I don't know if I want to see the majority of the people, much as, hey, you know what? They're getting together with their friends. That's fine. That's great. I don't need all the attention. But if I feel like more people than not are just talking with the people that they're with, and I'm just the background, I'm not sure if I like that. Not these days, I don't. No, that might not be as much busking. But I've tried that and it's mixed as well. Some people don't really like it. Some people feel like they're pressured to give something. Some people think like you're just trying to get attention. You are with the talents that you have. I mean, I don't know. I guess I feel mixed about like people if they want to bust, great. I don't do it often, but again, it's also I don't drive, right? So unless I have a way to get there, unless the weather is good, including not windy because I would usually use the music books. Um, Location, like there's a pretty good location near us, but we kind of have to be on the outer edge of the area. Otherwise, they say you can't play here. Oh, because I mean, I don't get confrontational with them. I don't, But I totally could say, "Oh yeah, I'm causing a lot of craziness, and I'm doing something really terrible right here. I'm just trying to bring music to the people, actually, you know, to the peeps. You know what I'm saying? You say what I'm knowing, you know." So yeah, it's but any patio performances, and they book them well up in advance too. Most of them are outdoors. Maybe, well, yeah, I'm thinking of that one, but that's well, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of like there was one that is kind of close, but not really too well. But that's kind of busy too. It just looked really nice. But guess I was too late in inquiring. I said if there's any cancellations, and either there wasn't, or they didn't think to contact me, or they didn't contact me first. They found somebody else instead. Yeah, yeah. I don't live in Spain or a warm climate. We have been having fairly mild, seasonably mild days. So I'm looking forward to going out in a bit and doing a couple errands. But I don't want to let too much out. But there's two of you here, and I know Wendy's one of them. Who's the other one? Feel free to say. But let me just say, it can get colder than minus 30 Celsius where I live. But sometimes I confuse Celsius with Fahrenheit because I'm not yeah, not great at math. But I recently kind of remembered. Sorry for a moment there. Okay, that's just being it. I don't know why YouTube does that either, but anyway, it's all good. Anyway, this is gonna look really good. 10 seconds, three, possibly 10 likes, and I don't think it's anybody doing anything. I think it's just YouTube. Um, I hope it corrects itself. That's all I can say. But yeah, so it's been it's been really fluctuating this year. Some people might say global warming, but it's yeah. And then there's the actual cold and what they say it feels like. So yeah, you know, I don't know about where you know your area. Amazing. I don't know if that's the word we'd use for it. We get used to it a little bit, but I don't know if that's the word. The question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. That's more accurate. I really want to plug in while I'm sitting forward doing something on the computer. I hope you won't. If this loses me for a moment, I'll be back. And I think okay, perfect. I think I already turned the heat down, but let me check. Oh my gosh. I do have to make sure I give myself a little bit of time. No, I didn't. I'm going to lower it because it is mild out there. And I'm hot. And hot and bothered. No, I'm podcasting. It takes energy. Whoops. Okay, sorry. Okay, for a moment there, it came back black screen. Sometimes it doesn't. I thought, okay, that annoys me, and it would make other people wonder, so I'd have to restart. Not like showing you the ceiling while I let it charge with the finicky charge. Anyway, so but yeah, so I still yeah, but now I can associate Spain with something else, and I did enjoy taking that class. I did, it's true. And sorry, these cushions sliding. It's annoying. Nice ceiling. Oh yeah, I showed it in one video, which I actually did some karaoke covers in. Speaking about me doing music, uh, uh, like I say, I was using a finicky charger because the other one. Do you believe in the afterlife? Anyway, I know that seems random at the moment, but it'll make sense in a moment, I promise. But like anything, you stick around long enough, things make sense, and you realize that it's all in good intent and vibes and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, so how do we deal with those triggers? How do we deal with those jealousy feelings sometimes, right? I mean, the specific trigger that I mentioned, there's another detail about it, which I think I've made some progress with recently. And I mentioned it in one of my videos, and I could mention it now if you'd like me to. But I think, sometimes it's replacing, and it's replacing, or it's like certain places a trigger. Go there with other people or yourself, and make new memories. And you might have to do it often, but eventually, more than not, it is true that the brain starts to associate it then with all the positive things, even though I've heard that sometimes our brain is more likely to focus on the negative. But G will sometimes say, that it must be hard to go about life feeling triggered sometimes, and it's like, or allowing yourself to be anxious, but it happens, right? Uh, it happens, and so the more that you kind of, I guess they say, what's the word? They say that the brain is moldable, right? And so the more that you go to a place, and it will take a lot sometimes, a lot of good experiences, and so and being in a better spot in life sometimes helps too, in more ways than one. But you find that that your brain really, really, really would rather remember the positive, remember the good stuff. Um, you know, Sometimes we hold on to things because we aren't healed from them, you know, and or they make us sad or angry or whatever. And that's something that this channel is about, is finding the healing in those. Not just for me, you know, any of us, to the best that we can. So, like, this is a great example, and then also some of the other things that you hear about in that country. I just need to get my muscle rubbed. But, even though it's also very beautiful, it's kind of like, and in fact, there was flamenco dancer in this theater festival last year. Me and G went to it. It was quite nice. Uh, okay, there's really not much in that. Um, but I can now say I have a new association with Spain because, to be quite honest, I don't have many of them. Uh, it feels like. Uh, but yeah, I believe Leanne was the one that said that she'd like to, well, try most things once, kind of thing, as she said. So hey, I hope you guys won't mind. I just have to put this muscle rub on. I'm dealing with tightness and inflammation, and yeah, no, I'm not trans. If anybody's asking, because that may not be a symptom. I'm just dealing with body stuff. I would never do that, to be honest. Not all that way, not to the surgery extent, that's for sure. You know, I don't even want to have other surgeries that I might eventually need. It's just I don't like the thought of it, even if they put me under. You know, I don't know. Was it a silly thing to say? I don't know. I guess I don't know. It might be. When you, especially if you've had top surgery, you might. I don't know. Neither of us is trans, so we don't know. But I thought it was a good enough guess. I'm glad you said haha, like I wasn't trying to be mean. Uh, yeah. Um, but oh, the things I could share about my story and my journey if it was just you and I here. But no, it's just, or if I knew for sure everyone that's here, like what, you were trans and you reversed. No, that would mean that I would have been comfortable with surgery in the first place. You know what I mean? But you're like, not really. But anyway, continue. I'm sure we'll get back on the same wavelength again in a moment. So yeah, I really like what you said. I believe in flowing energy, not necessarily in heaven. Well, they are definitely similar, I would say. They are definitely similar, but and I think you've hit the notification bell and the like, so I appreciate it. But and you haven't even said it yet, I don't think. I've also just learning a bit about Spain, learning that Valencia is actually a part of like a few different areas of Spain, and that's confusing. You have me curious, you do, and slightly maybe a bit disturbed. Just kidding. But I was both of those things a little bit anyway. Just kidding. Curious. I'm a lot curious. I have an original song. Speaking about doing music, I have an original song that I don't pull out my originals very often. Well, I mean, we've got Don Juan, we've got, and he's a nice guy, better than Don Trump. Anyway, don't mind me. I'm not going to get political here. I think we mentioned him. You know, free speech country, but I, do it with respect. We've got. I'm not. I'm telling the other two people because you probably know this. Have you ever been to Canada, by the way? Del Ventasso. By the way, you said you don't post content yet. I think you said that a little earlier. But if you were to, what would you post? Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Yeah, he hasn't made it tricky, that's for sure. Um, we've got Algaro de Valenciana. Do I sound Spanish yet? No, and I'm not. Okay, good. That's what I thought. Just kidding. Uh, De La Torres, there's Just again. She's like, wait, I'm watching. You just said my name. Like, what? Just kidding. Valencia de Mambue. I hope you're from that one because that Del Mambue. Sorry, that sounds cool. Sounds African, to be quite honest. Speaking about African and other country combinations. Um, yeah, the jealousy thing I'm still working on. Like, I'm happy for other people. I truly am. Most people that are, doing what they love to do and getting, and it's good things and they're getting the opportunities and it's great. I really think that in a lot of cases lately, it's been the spot in life that I've been in, and it's like, you know, if it wasn't the case, then I'd feel differently. But it's hard sometimes, and I mean, I'm not saying it's always bad or whatever or unpleasant, but it's challenging sometimes when you watch the world around you. And sure, some people are struggling also in similar ways or worse. But you watch the world around you and you see everybody else making it in their life, see everybody else reaching their goals, crushing it, so to speak. And it's not that I don't, but I don't as much as I would like. I would like to see that since I'm not very easily traveled on my. Ah, what was that joke you were going to say earlier? Again, people, it's just a joke. It may or may not offend me, but I hope it doesn't offend you to the other person watching. But um, and I hope we always find ways to be connected and understand each other. And that goes for a lot of any of us really. Uh, uh, have I tried to reload this thing? But yeah, uh, just making sure. Have I tried to reload? Yeah. Oh, okay. Uh, yeah, it's so exotic. I think I knew that that was Spain, but yeah, money, having the dog, not having a lot of family to ask necessarily. Although I was reminded about how much my mother would like to. So when her 20-year-old dog passes away, apparently he wasn't that great around Christmas, but he did kind of come out for a little bit and visit. Um, but then he sounds like he bounced back. He could be trying to set a Guinness record, that dog. And it was nice to see him a couple times recently, even though he's so thin and fragile, see me, because compared to our pretty sturdy dog. Because yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Doing OnlyFans. Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't fully process what you were saying. And I like your sense of humor. That's not what. Oh, right. I don't know if that's as much of a joke as just kind of rephrasing the statement, but sure. Who knows? Who knows? And got to feel their pain a little bit. They go from feeling like they're not in the right body to changing it and adjusting to that, but hopefully eventually feeling like they made the right decision. Who was that person I saw recently on YouTube? Not that one. I don't think there's been another one more recently who felt like they hadn't. Oh, right, that was the guy whose camera wasn't working. Yeah, it's like, oh, I've been watching for a little while. You're now talking about me, so I guess I'll say hi. No, just kidding. But if it's not you, don't. I mean, the two handle things are confusing. But if it's not you, don't play with my head that way, please. But the only reason he regretted it was because his kind of toxic sounding partner didn't like that he transitioned, and he regretted it because he wanted his partner to still be romantically interested in him, essentially. Anyway, which is the other reason why I wouldn't. Um, so I mean, like I say, I'm not in Spain. I'm not very likely to ever. I shouldn't say this, but not anytime soon. I don't even play the lottery, so there's no chance of that kind of miracle. So we're really getting along. We really are getting along. So I hope you don't mind me saying that there's a small part of me that, because I appreciate that, and I think that we've got a lot in common and operate in very similar ways, as much as we're our unique individual, there's a small part of me that is curious to possibly connect with you on another platform. And I don't use OnlyFans, by the way, just so you know. So when I searched Valencia, Spain, I found all those other ones as well. Basically, which is learning too, learning about the country, right? But hey, it's nice to be able to have one-on-one every now and then too. I mean, it's true. I don't do it often unless unintentionally, and most of the time I don't. And last time I tried to, it made the screen kind of wonky. But and I had to restart, and that was the record long one that I did the other day. Again, if you can get around to seeing the end of it at some point, that would be great. You will see the end of this one at some point soon, I promise. Well, maybe not soon, but not super far away. But it'd be nice to kind of talk about some of these things a bit more one on one. Again, I'm not at all considering becoming trans, but it'd be nice to, you know, where we might not be. One of the reasons is where we might not be offending someone, but I hope that we aren't anyway. But so also, I was just looking because, yeah, people are going to be starting to post and rehearse for their theater festival shows. I had a bit of a disappointment I woke up to this morning. It wasn't happening in Vancouver. It was just meant to look like it, but it was in a sports stadium, uh, being fans. And I thought about it already, and I don't know why he has not updated profile, but we're still they reached out to him, even though okay, well, if you were, it sounds like we could. So okay, that's interesting to know. Any other? You're on this one, uh, but but I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it can be hard to keep up, even for myself. And like, I like to watch some back with G, who's often not around, the other person in the house. But it's kind of like, but when I've been with myself and podcasted all day, sometimes I really don't feel. But I know that there's been a lot of great content, and I know that he would kind of like to see some of it. So sometimes, and that's when I'm likely to stumble upon comments if they don't notify me of them, because sometimes that happens. But vice, that's an interesting way to put it. But I see what you mean. But anyway, even pretending to be a sports fan, like I don't go to sporting events not only because I don't drive and I'm not hugely into sports. I'll admit it this far in, but it's not that I'm not in some ways. Um, but basically the loudness of it, no, thank you. 12 hours on 2 different days. I know he'd say no to that anyway. Uh, and although they would provide a transportation service, whether it's right in the city or not, I think it might be. And sometimes they don't release information right away. I'm talking about movie extra work, by the way. But And I mean, like if his profile is expired, I'm sure I'm with them, or maybe there was a reason I decided not to be, but that I can't remember. But yeah, anyway, yeah. Like, why would they do that? Even if it's cool work and they feed you and they pay you, why would they make somebody give 12? And every now and then they do, but with a big number like that, they probably wouldn't go. Now it says one like, but honestly, folks, there's 10 or 11. That feature is being wonky, and I've never seen that before, and I'm not sure what's going on, but it's annoying. But I'm having a good chat anyway, and if you haven't liked, feel free to like it. If you liking what you're hearing, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get more of this. Sorry, I've been talking for what? Almost 3 hours. I've been meaning to get a new water from the fridge uh, to go with my older water. Cold, warm water to go with my colder water. You know what I mean? You mean what I know? Oh, baby. And I'm going to put more in the fridge. Blow my nose. Blow my nose. Blow. Any content creator might realize that if you talk for an hour, you will start to notice it. You will start to. But I'm having a good time. I don't necessarily have to wrap up until I do. 11. Yeah, I've got lots of time. But and I'm glad that you do too. You're like, oh, this is a perfect way to unwind after teaching a bunch of noisy, bratty kids. Just kidding. No offense to the kids or teens. Anyway, no. That's how you know you're getting a bit old, right? But I mean, we're not that old. But no, and I mean, some of them are great. Like, it's a profession I might not mind some of the time. It's so actually ironic. I saw somebody on Price is Right recently, and I thought she looked. I don't think it was her though. I mean, she had health problems then in her 50s. She might not even still be alive, but I haven't noticed an obituary, and I can't remember what her first name was. Oh, so they're all great and perfect then. I'll never forget the end of that one PIR. All these college guys. The guy had won a bed. I've been watching it lately. Mixed feelings, but mostly, feelings and mostly enjoying it. They'd won a bed, and all of them just jumped on. I don't. It didn't break that they showed. It's interesting to see kind of. I don't know if you ever watched that show, but to kind of see the latter part of it where they're all kind of going towards the prizes and all their friends run out or whatever. But yeah, they all jumped on the bed, and I thought, well, will they will they remember that this is televised? Will they care? No, but I have heard of English majors, by the way. But I'm thinking, if you don't know English pretty well by the time you get to university, is there something wrong with you? I could be confused. I have certain feelings about degrees in some ways, but the dog will stop being noisy soon if you're worried that it's going to get anybody else's dog. Anybody here have dogs? No, it says no likes. That's not accurate. But the chat and the people being here is motivating, and I hope that fixes soon and shows it correctly. Because if I was to put it in a comment, would people believe me? I don't know. Anyway, uh, me no likey that. It showed me no likies. Anyway, like I say, there's at least 11 folks. I've seen it. Well, no, actually, I'm elevating that a little bit. It was probably 8 or 9 at one point. Actually, it was 8 for sure. I think it was 9. Anyway, but yeah. So, but no, I mean, why wouldn't exactly? See, she can verify, not just because she's a mod, because that's only as of today. uh, you know, and like I say, yeah, mostly put people on time out when we do music. That are being a little iffy, but yeah, why would somebody need to take? I guess if they want to be an English teacher, but then see, this is where I would say, I mean, I'm not perfect or anything. This is where I would say my level of English ability, and yours is very great, even though I bet you speak fluent Spanish too. And you're like, actually, I don't. No, you didn't say that, but maybe you're planning to. Uh, what do you call it? Uh, well, I would say I've been English all my life. I've been wanting to learn Polish, and I've been wanting to learn. there's somebody else that I kind of have a bit of connection with on YouTube that speaks the language. And just the other day, I was thinking I should learn that for them as well. And I can't remember what it is now. But Spanish could be one of them too. But anyway, I only know English. I've been knowing it all my life, as you can tell by statements like that. And it's kind of like, but no, I mean, sometimes it's a cultural way of speaking too. You know, not to sound racist or whatever, but when I say I've been knowing, I feel like I just talk like a black person. I don't know. But again, no offense to black people at all. But I'm gonna keep saying I've been knowing because it sounds cool. You know what I mean? You feel me, yo? Sorry, sorry, channeling my inner Afrikaan. But anyway, I've been English all my life, so I feel like I could teach it. Of course, it's one of those things. If somebody doesn't know any English, it's like, how do you? I've heard. I'm not sure if it's true that almost everybody thinks in English because it's such a uh, popular or it's such a common language and they translate in their head to what's most natural. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Something like that I've heard. But yeah, I mean, I could, you know, I don't even, okay, I don't know how I would do it. Yeah, yeah, I'm not suited for it. I don't know if a degree would help me either, to be honest. What am I looking up? I can't, oh, right. I think I remember her name. But see, I'm from a place in Ontario called Windsor, Ontario. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And around there was a bunch of small towns. So it's like I had this teacher. She may have lived in one of those towns. I don't know which one. So I don't know if I could find an obituary for her. Uh, but this sounds like it could be her. Although, no, I don't think so. But I do have a couple interesting stories about her, though. I remember she said that, speaking of that kind of thing, she said, when we first started class with her, she said, I might have to leave the room, you know. Well, it's also a place in the UK, and a lot of places are named after it. But I'm talking about Ontario. I thought you were saying when I was 8, and I said I hadn't talked about that much. I don't remember much about it, let alone talk about it. But okay, so that's not her. But anyway, I remember one time we were watching something on a little video that she showed us or whatever, and at one point not to startle anyone, but and I don't want to get the dog worked up, but she let out this scream and she was just playing with us or whatever. Uh, Rip Mrs. Phillips, by the way, and Mr. Hyrix, and I don't know. I guess Mrs. Weingarten, that was like preschool. Uh, and do you have any favorite teachers that stand out to you? Have any of them passed away by any chance? I had a baking teacher named Mr. Baker. True. He had a certain sense of humor that was pretty popular with the high school students, let me tell you that much. And it's weird. I don't get out much. I guess I don't. I do and I don't. I certainly get around online quite a bit, though. And I saw this short guy with gray hair. I guess his face was similar. I walked past him the other day and I thought, I turned around and thought, that looked like Mr. Baker. But I don't think it was. But and he had long hair, and he was actually a transit driver. I do remember that. So unless he changed, yeah, yeah. I don't know about his profile picture that was a little odd, but he did come into the my high school had a group on a platform, but then the school moved. The group transitioned to a different group. Speaking of that, uh, and I never could navigate my way to it. I somebody posted it, and I just never remember ending up getting there. But we're this far in. Again, these are not my words; they're his. He would talk about the hot cross buns and the, one other one, something about a bun, I think actually. Yeah, he was a quirky little guy, that's for sure. Uh, Acted like a teenager himself. And then Mr. Hyrix passed away. in his 60s, and um, he worked on cruise boats. He was like a probably top seal chef, whatever those would be. Delish. I don't think I've ever had them, to be honest. But if we're going to talk about English teachers for a moment, I had one. Oh, I can't believe she ever decided to teach in a high school. Maybe she did and didn't know what she was getting herself into, but she found out quick. She had a name that lots of people could, lots of teenagers especially, I'm sure. I don't remember it much because it was quite a while ago, but I'm sure they had some fun with it. I'll tell you that much. I'm sure they did. I'm quite sure that I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Don't mind me. So Mr. Baker teaching baking is nothing compared to that. But and actually the other one kind of too, in a way, come to think of it. And they were both blonde. And the other one, she was like old. She was like 50 or 60. I mean, everybody's old when you're young, right? Thankfully, most of them don't judge, you know. What was her name? Kunt. This is where I show how Canadian I am because I hear both and I don't say it often. Z, Z, and the other one kind of sounds like a bird, basically. I'm not sure if people are dealing with bird flu there, but it might be a thing that's going on here. Uh, yeah, I mean, how could I not tell you, after going on about it like that? But yeah, I don't remember much about them. Actually, the math teacher quite liked me, although I never liked math. But I think she realized that that was a difficult subject for some people, and I was trying. And yeah, just as we're all figuring out what that word means, and I don't even know if I would know how to define it, but I know the general area. And that had a certain type of ring, didn't it? Now, anyway, yeah, kind of like Windsor. Sorry. Uh, well, I'm sure I'm being way louder than any of the deans at the school that's kind of close that are going by. Speaking of that, we kind of live near one. And just noise outside. So you should be hearing me and used to it by now, even though I'm quite hyped up, and hushing and not getting other people's dogs worked up. Does other people watching have dogs, by the way? But yeah, I mean, I'm from a small town, like I say. So, like, I had three, I mean, and this is the thing, when you're somewhere so often, it's like a second home in a lot of cases. So, like, there were three teachers that were dating each other. Like, not altogether, although these days I probably wouldn't judge that, to be honest. But like the welding teacher was dating in fact, possibly even married because I think they had the same last name. I don't know what Mrs. Dean taught. And I guess, would you consider yourself to be a dean at the university? What's the difference between that and a professor? Anyway, there was two that were married, and he was one of my favorite ones at the time. I've heard some things since then, but people are human; they make mistakes, and I mean, I'm not trying to justify for them. I don't think it was ever like really bad, but a wormery as opposed to a rummer on her. That's funny. I thought of the phrase the other day: "The early bird gets the worm," because this guy said that he needs to go to YouTube rehab. He's an addict, and he keeps being late for work. And I thought he was a trucker, but he's an electrician. Watch, he's probably watching. The comments seem to be coming through, but I should watch over here just in case they ain't. Whereas I have a follower, commenter, that goes by dogs. Um, no, probably are notified just because you're mine now. Even if you didn't, but I'm sure I did. What was all that? I don't know. Anyway, nothing bad, but nothing good either. Just kidding. No, I'm just when reminding myself that I'll be happy to have you back here again sometime soon. Pretty much, you're like you needed to remind yourself that. I need to remind myself some of the strangest things sometimes. I tell you, most of them I forget to remember anyway. Oh yeah. By the way, I thought in what on God's green earth? What on God's green earth? So Wendy, you do actually have some content. You do. I clicked to your channel. Then I was scrolling along the top and getting like tab previews, and I thought that I was seeing that, but you said you didn't, and I'm not saying you were lying, but you have a few short videos. I guess maybe not a lot with you in it, but do we really need to see that dog one? I mean, really? But I've seen that in action once, and it was in the winter, and not even in our winter, and I honestly thought they were stuck together. But anyway, and I guess they were in a way. Ha ha! Oh mine. But anyway, ha ha! Oh everybody's in a good way. But anyway, it reminds me of a picture my friend Marianne has posted. It involves a giraffe. I don't remember the details. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We aren't here to talk about that. It is only 37 seconds. Maybe that's all it takes. I'm sorry. Uh, so you have a fascination with worms. Oh, G is always spraying aphids off the plants. We have some plants that we've had for like 20 years. I'll tell you that much. Looks like nice dogs, though. And a few more than that, probably. Anyway, I'll stop. I'm probably disturbing somebody. Well, not you, and there's only one other person here, and I'm not meaning. Blame Wendy. That's all I could say. That's all I could say. That's usually what you could say in moments like this, right? And some people will say, take any of the blame themselves. Well, yeah, I did click into it. It's true. It's true. But she's more to blame because she's the one that put. Anyway, no. But and you posted something about an assault. Who wants to see that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm judging your content. I'm sure the car park is lovely. Smarty guys can be all right. Justice is great. Tennis needs to be more than 12 seconds. I'm just glad you have some content. That's all I can say. Now, don't mind me as I check it out. Well, I hope you never do that with me because that's not super cool. I heard some music and thought it sounded like. Okay. Okay. Just dogs, though, eh? I mean, I mean, doesn't that sound? Isn't it kind of almost universal? I didn't even know it had to sound, to be honest. I don't even want to think about that. But thanks for explaining, and it is kind of funny. And I don't like to think of myself necessarily as twisted, and I don't mean to insult you, but you sound a little twisted. So I'm sure we'll get along just fine. No, just kidding. But really, I'm not that twisted. Let's twist again like we did in the summer. Let's twist again like we did last year. Yeah, 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 yeah. That reminds me of a Chris Angel thing. I almost hate to mention it because it was super disturbing. And I don't think it back in those days. I don't think it would have been special effects. And even if it was, then it never should be. But I don't want to disturb the other person that's watching right now. There's three of you here. I'll ask about that in a moment. You're like, oh, what else did I post? Oh my goodness, I don't even pay attention to what I posted. Something to maybe focus on this year, right? No, but hey, I'm sure you got some good stuff. Um, anyway, basically, Mary, I mean, when I paused that one screen of my video there, I was looking up and I remember Marianne's video speaking about people's videos. Like, I sense sometimes, is what I'm saying. Catch my driftwood. I'm not from Driftwood, but I might as well be. I might as well be. Sorry. I'm trying to get the last little bit of this lotion out. It's amazing, folks. Anybody who uses lotion, you probably waste a lot when it doesn't pump anymore and you think, okay, I guess it's empty. It's not, folks. Don't waste your money. I do that as much as I can, and every now and then I'll cut it open too. Give the bottle surgery. Uh, oh, this is lovely. This is lovely. You're like, it is? I didn't know I was bringing in the lovely. Yes, you did. Anyway, just a moment here. Just a moment here. Would you like to hear it from me or Marianne directly? You got four of you here, so I don't know which I'd rather say. I think I know how I'd rather start. And then hopefully the rest of you introduce yourself and get to like you. And chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not, because this is the moisturized part of the video. Uh, you know, it had to be said. I mean, because it was. So I mean, I'm very verbal. Not sure what, but yeah, to the four that are here, if you're not seeing any likes and you're seeing how far in this is, and well, you're seeing somebody enjoying the comments, the other one plans to come back, and I'll tell you this much: uh, um, the likes are not being accurate. It's probably about 11 or 12 by now, which is a great way to start this year, Guinness. Anywho, but yeah, so let me tell you about her. Sorry, I'm just tired. You guys you've worn me out. No, just kidding. Ending apparently, but in a good way. Sorry. Not sure what, by the way. Anywho, so Marianne, and it's a pretty common name, so if people hear me talk about Marianne later, they might not know who I'm talking about, but is a former co-worker of mine back in those days. So I need a bit more because I'm talking. I think that's part of the reason. Uh, it's also just because I'm anyway. No, an addict. No, to it. No, but that's good. Anyway, so I don't mean to make those kind of jokes. So I have nothing but hoping for healing for people that have addictions. But no, and I don't know. I don't know Mike's journey that much. I know who I met him through. I know that but yeah. But even as an electrician, I mean, yeah, I kind of have to have that and possibly at 3 a.m. But apparently he has to get up or be at work at 3 a.m. I said nothing should happen at 3 a.m. other than sleeping. Anyway, but so like, are you gonna tell me who Marianne is or yes? So anyway, I thought it just did, didn't I? No, it's kidding. So anyway, she was a co-worker. Uh, I had her as an online contact for a little while. We used to ride the bus with each other, mostly to or from work for a bit. Um, and she passed away of cancer in her 50s or 60s. Um, do I know where that painting is of her? No, because it's tiny, and sometimes I brought it to the couch, and then I put it who knows where. The person who painted it is not someone I'm currently in contact with. She just didn't have a need for that, and I don't think I was trying to charge her. She didn't have a need for a certain service I wanted to give her. She should have just said yes anyway, because her no kind of hurt because I was needing opportunities at that time in my life. Well, and it was like, well, I may be a good friend of yours, but I'm not going to give one to you. That's not what she said, but it annoyed me. But anyway, yeah, cancer. But so somebody painted a couple pictures of her, and I don't know if I want to. I know he put it up so that I could see it, and it's still there. But like, man, there are stuff. I have to realize that sometimes we all have to realize some certain things, people, things. If we can avoid it, great, grand, but are meant to be just in the past. Like the art group that I painted that picture in. What is the charge level on this? 78, and if I think it's dropped at 70s before, but hopefully it won't. If it dies, post. I don't think I'm going to be too risky, but I should be good at 78 for a little while. Um, and I appreciate that. But you know what? This is where I say that I do believe that she pretty strongly that her and a lot of my others are living on in heaven. So and so yeah, that. But anyway, she was in a video because she lived in a seniors building, even though she wasn't that old. There was somebody else I heard about that recently. Thankfully, not my mother. Who was it? And I said, "Oh, that's young to be." Oh, Ray's mother, I think. Well, it said care facilities. I had a friend that passed at 32 years old. In a couple of weeks, it will be a year. Her mother passed away at the end of November, apparently. Such a sad year for that family. It really is. Anyway, and apparently she'd been in some care facilities now. Her mother, she was only 32, so her mother couldn't have been over 60. Anyway, possibly not even much over 50. My dad passed away in his late 40s, auto accident, but, and I'd like this cup. It caught my eye the other day because I was taking tape off the top of the fridge. This cup actually was my dad's work cup, and you can see a little bit, but not much of the emblem on it still. And I have a business card of his somewhere. I thought I put it up with there with the cup. That would have made sense, but I didn't. And but I feel like I know where, in and around where it might be upstairs. Yeah, thank you. It was so long ago. I do feel like I say he's alive in spirit, so it's I'm all right with it. Would I like it to be otherwise? Sure, but I'm all right with it. Anyway, I don't know how. Maybe that place that Kathleen uses in Montreal, but I might like to have his emblem kind of restored onto this cup. I don't know if it's microwavable. This spins for some weird reason, but and I don't know. I could look at it as having coffee with my dad every day. It's about how much of it I drink anyway at a time. Um, Somewhere on that shelf, but yeah, I'm actually seeing it now. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, Rip Jackie, the other one. Uh, so, you're like, oh, your gosh is right. Oh, your gosh. Oh, everybody's gosh. No, but I mean, there's a lot of shelves. Half of them are organized. I know G sometimes says I'd like to organize that shelf, but I mean, life has its distractions. Great things on YouTube, posting, watching, uh, you know. Uh, the other two, feel free to join in as well. This and that. But I've been trying horseradish sauce lately. My dad worked with horse. I know I'm really letting a lot of people know things, but do the right things with this information. Don't try and like do anything weird with it. Okay, because you can do better than that. And this is your year to do it. If you have any doubt, any of you, that you are doing it, this is, or whether you're doing it or not, this is your year. You're like, what is he on about? What is all that noise? You know what I'm on about, or maybe you don't. Maybe that isn't something you need to hear, but maybe it is. Okay. I didn't know all this paper was here, and it's all just falling everywhere. And anyway, here's another thing to remember him by. So apparently, this was part of a flower arrangement at his funeral. So I was not even quite a teen yet, actually, speaking of high school and all that good stuff. I mean, just to tell you how real it is, like, oh, you just have to see the video. Uh, there was the hug afterwards, but yeah, it's nice to have things to remember our loved ones by. So this was in a flower arrangement, and I'm surprised how quickly I noticed it. He was like, I was just making it the butt of the joke. I'm like, what joke? Okay, well now you guys might have just found out a little something about me. Uh, anyway, but it was sticking out of the. That's the joke. Is your butt sticking out? What? I'm so confused. What you gonna do? I like anyway, so don't mind me. But yeah, kind of surprised that I saw it there, but I did. And it makes me think of Wild Horses, which was at Ray's funeral. It makes me think of oh gosh, there's a couple of songs. I don't think I have musical energy right now, so definitely next time, remind me, mention some horse theme songs. I'll possibly do them. But it really is quite nice. I know when my mother gave it to me just 2 or 3 years ago, I felt a little mixed. It's like, because I feel in some ways closer than I got to be with him in life, if this hopefully makes sense to you, spiritually. Spiritually. And But it was a hard thing to go through. And, you know, I don't need to say it this deep in if it's only you here, because I'm just thinking of something I've heard that some people go through. And, you know, are you still there, Randy? I think you are, but just checking. Um, so, as much as I am healed from it, I remember my reaction a couple of years ago when she gave it to me. That cup I think I've had for a long time. And it was kind of like, it almost triggered me a little bit. Because no matter an ability, when you can't have a loved one back in the physical, as you're trying to navigate your life and getting older, that's hard, right? But sometimes we get really wonderful people put in our lives, and it makes it easier. So is it a good idea to do that then? Because I mean, you could have your clothes strewn about all the. You ever find that? Like, I think I've maybe figured out why that might be, but like one sock or a pair of skivvies or I actually got a pair of pants once. I was laying in the park. They were bright green. I don't think I've worn them since I took them, maybe once. They're like, oh, those are nice color. They're kind of neat. Don't see the owner, but I don't. They looked clean too, like fairly clean, and I washed them. But yeah, as far as hang, okay, I'm sure you have a lovely balcony. You don't have a dryer. Sometimes, well, this would be a lot though to put it on the radiators, and you might not have radiators. I guess I would have thought, not trying to judge you, and I get it, but I guess I would have thought, look at the weather. Do we have a windy day coming up where my clothes might blow off might blow around too much? Then I'll wait. But that's me. Maybe I don't know. I do have a dryer myself, so. But anyway, it's all good. You know, you're also not like me in the sense that you have a job that you go to every day, probably every day. I mean, and so you know, every day or two, there I am again with it. You've been needing to wash your clothes, girl, and whereas me, I mean, when I'm just hanging around at home, I mean, I know none of you does not through the internet. I can wear the same clothes for a few days, and the person I live with doesn't seem to care. And if I felt like I needed to do otherwise, I would. But yeah, if I'm not going anywhere, makes sense, right? But have you heard of Chris Angel, by the way? Speaking of angels. But anyway, yeah, so very much appreciate the YouTube community and the connections. And sometimes that's where I have most of my social, but not always. But lately, these days, kind of. but but not entirely. And if you're in an apartment building, I mean, I know I've had apartment buildings where they have a whole bunch, or not a whole bunch, but they have a few of each in a laundry room, or there's laundry mats. But I guess it's the free and natural way, so I can just imagine it now. Clothes blowing in the wind, some nice flowers in the Spanish countryside of Valencia. I'd watch that video. We mean angels depends. Not to me, they don't, for the most part. Yeah, I hope they don't fly away either. Can you imagine walking along? I know I'm being goofy, is what I'm being, and I am catching it right before. But if the people don't like the joke, they can look past it and realize that there's lots of actually good, value, worthy as well that's being put in my videos, and that I'm a good person and I just have a sense of humor sometimes, and it's good to have that. How could you get through life without it? At the same time, some things are really not funny, and we should only be aiming for greatness for each other. and we could scroll on. But I mean, I'm not really saying this to Wendy because I think we have a similar sense of humor. It seems like, but to the other person, I was just imagining somebody walking down the street and a pair of skivvies blowing, and then they shoo it away, and there's a sock. Anyway, don't mind me. But does anybody know about what shoes being thrown on an electrical wire means? Oh, you're welcome for the encouragement about the videos. Yeah, it means shoes are being thrown on an electrical wire, and hopefully they don't burn to a crisp. No, I've heard that it might mean that somebody is at risk of like being in an abusive situation. But I don't know exactly how you could figure out who put the shoes there, unless you saw them throw it. I've only seen it once or twice in my life. But anyway, what do you mean angels depends? Like basically, I'm saying that I channel them. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Last night. But yeah, so sometimes I'm on vacation or something because it's like I don't know if I need to say it. If I decide that I'd like to, then, but it's not usually just something else just rolling through my head that isn't necessarily relevant to say. All the other stuff certainly is, but like this might be an opportunity since you're the only one here and it's this far in. I think you're the only one here right now anyway. To say that I'm actually not trans, but I'm non-binary. I'm fine with not getting the they thing. I mean, you can just call me C or jump right into the conversation, like I say. Oh, really? Okay. See, I knew it had a meaning, but maybe I was remembering wrong. Again, I still don't know how it really says much, but yeah. I had a very lovely visit from my friend Ray and my friend JP. JP was kind of about addictions, kind of about helping the homeless. Ray was about cherishing life, was about how to process witnessing somebody pass away, passing away, that kind of thing. Uh, and definitely it's been fairly active lately. Telepathic abilities. It's interesting. My brother had a album in the band he was in for a while. Children of Telepathic Abilities. I don't know whose idea it was. I don't know exactly how the album spoke to it. I didn't really notice that about myself at that point in time in my life, or I didn't know that I had that ability, and I didn't really. I guess I probably thought it was interesting, but his music was interesting. I mean, it wasn't. I don't know if I really what I thought of it, and he could never define it, like his genre. But it's interesting because yeah, now having them myself, the telepathic abilities, not joking. Yeah. Is there a loved one you might want to hear from? I can give you a little freebie. You can do a donation if you so choose to. Is there a loved one you'd like to hear from? I'd be honored to try and help. But yeah, I channel quite often on my videos to show that it's possible, to show how lovely it can be. It still is not necessarily life changing. They don't always have all the answers, and it can be a lot to take in sometimes. Um, but and it's not all the time either. Like some people, they probably that do that probably experience it daily. I don't, and I'm kind of thankful for that. But I definitely experience it. Yeah, I'm pretty tired, but see what I could do. And like I say, in the super long video I did the other day, uh, yeah, channeling on the channel. Uh, yeah, very powerful stuff. Yeah, started with my dad actually at 25. Like I say, I was much younger. He's always been with me. I've been doing pretty well in my life growing up without him. Um, I I don't know you believe, but the other person, doesn't know. And I need to take a sip of water. I had school. I had a job in high school. I was doing okay. Then I moved to where I'm at now, and I'm starting to feel like I'm reciting that thing I wrote in a class once. Made a big change, moved to where I'm at now. Not going to say where that is, but Canada, close to Edmonton. Anyway, and I don't think you said you've ever been to Canada, but I can't remember, and the other person's welcome to join in as well. But and basically, um, I said there was so much to look forward to. Uh, and something about him, he must be proud. Uh, and that I might even try out for Canadian Idol. I did, by the way. Kind of botched program, to be honest, but I still kind of like the concept. Uh, they brought five of us into a little trailer thing to sing. Uh, I didn't have to wait in line that long, and I mostly visited with the people I was there with, my mother and Kathy. It's ironic because now I think of two other Kathys more than that person, although that one came up on the holidays. But I do kind of remember she was with us. And I remember, I don't know anybody who might know the name Ben Mulrooney, was on the stairs going down. Yeah, I don't remember the line that much. I don't really remember. Like it was so weird. I don't even remember a lot of people singing, like warming up or whatever, which I must just not be remembering. I've got to think, you know. And then they went down the row and they picked two out of the five, and it wasn't even the ones you see as the TV judges first, you know. So here comes that muscle cream again, just so you know. Not a strong need, but I'm sensitive sometimes, and it's sort of distracting me. So, but yeah, basically, uh, said, you know, what's more important in life is to do what you like and enjoy that you can do that you're comfortable with. The world's come a long way in accepting people's differences and challenges. We still could come a long way sometimes, it seems like. Don't be scared to live life. Things will be okay. Um, it's a lot to guarantee, but I try to remember that. I have to go, I'm afraid. Thanks for the insights in the company. Thank you very much as well. See you next time. Yeah, for sure. Hope the doctor's appointment goes well. Actually, it's the person I live with doctor's appointment. I guess you heard me mention it. Yeah, and I'm not sure. I'll see if he wants me to be there for part of it, or whatever. Other than that, I'll be in the waiting room texting this film contact. I do have something to pick up from the pharmacy. I had mine virtually on the phone a couple of days ago, actually, and it was really just to get the prescription. Um, but yeah, and hopefully those vitamins start to help me in ways, even possibly trying to eat healthier that my body may not otherwise be receptive to, because I heard that's a thing. So yeah, but thank you for that. And yeah, you're the kind of person I think that I could probably spend a whole afternoon talking to, or apparently in this case, from where I'm at in the world, a whole morning. But you probably have to get to bed and you have an early morning. So good night. Take care. And the other person, it looks like you've been here for a while, or someone left, somebody else came in, and it's just still saying too. You're not really saying much. I hope you're thinking positive thoughts, seeing how easy I am to talk with, how enjoyable it is, and if you're not feeling those feelings and you're sticking around anyway, there's lots of other stuff you can watch on YouTube you might enjoy more. So, but other than that, yeah, thanks again, Wendy. Wendy, and you got the windy day in Spain, windy for Wendy. Anyway, but I do want a bit of time in between my things. I've still got a few hours, pretty much. I'm not really ready for lunch, but I think I am pretty tired. I think I sung a few snippets. Next time I'll try and be more musical. I am pretty tired, so and it looks like there's now nobody here, but that could be inaccurate. But I'm going to wrap up. It's a good time to wrap up, I would say. Um, if either of you are still here, though, the only other thing I'll say is I might roll tonight. I might. We'll see. And if not tonight, most likely tomorrow. So take care. you and your guest. Oh, no, I should have brought it on camera, but anyway.